going on sustainability across departments, and a view of everybody on cycles in a lush green campus is a testament to that. Our department, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, came into existence with the very inception of IIT Kharagpur in 1951 and has since then given birth to endless wisdom and wisdom creators across disciplines. With the growing urgency to embrace sustainability, this Gyan course is designed to address some of the most pressing global challenges, like how to build economies post COVID 19, how to integrate digitalization and sustainability, and how to create resilient frameworks that withstand future uncertainties. Together, we will explore the principles, tools, and strategies that can refine our economy, empower communities, and foster inclusive growth. The next 5 days are an opportunity to connect, learn, and push boundaries. The 5 days the 5 days will entail insightful sessions and hands on understanding of topics like the transformative potential of Industry 4.0 for smart economies, the imperatives of sustainability from production patterns to global SDGs, and the critical role of resilience and adaptability in today's uncertain world. On this note, I'd like to introduce our guests for today. We have with us Professor Atanu Chaudhary, who is the guest faculty of the course. Professor Chaudhary is a renowned academic in technology and operations management at Durham University Business School, UK. With over 20 years of academic and industry experience, Professor Chaudhary's research covers areas like digital supply chains, additive manufacturing, and sustainability. His work, cited more than 2570 times, has an impressive H index of 26. Professor Chaudhary has published in top tier journals, including Production Planning and Control and the Journal of Business Research, and has led high impact projects funded by councils like European Regional Development Fund and the British Council. His expertise in blockchain technology and circular economy has earned him multiple recognitions, including the Outstanding Research Impact Award from Durham University in 2022. We are privileged to have Professor Chaudhary with us for this course. I would like to request Professor Kishore Goswami to kindly felicitate Professor Chaudhary. Our chairman for this event is Professor Kishore Goswami. Professor Goswami is the head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Kharagpur. With a PhD in economics from this very institution and over 2 decades of experience, Professor Goswami's research expertise revolves around development economics, business economics, and agricultural economics. Sir has over 50 publications in reputed journals, has guided over 14 completed doctoral theses till date, and is associated as a board member with various esteemed journals like Sage Open and Asia Pacific Economic Newsletter. Professor Goswami has also contributed greatly to academia and practice through various projects from reputed bodies like Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India, and Hindustan Petroleum. His professional journey is nothing but inspiring, and we're glad to have him with us today. I'd like to request Professor Vikas Thakur to kindly felicitate Professor Kishore Goswami, sir. I'd also like to introduce the course coordinator for this very course, Professor Vikas Thakur. Dr. Thakur is a dynamic faculty member at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Kharagpur. He brings over 10 years of academic and research expertise in subjects like operations and supply chain management, along with sustainability. With a PhD from IIT Roorkee, Dr. Thakur has published over 29 papers in internationally recognized journals, including Journal of Cleaner Production, Business Strategy and the Environment, and Sustainable Cities and Society. His research on healthcare waste management and resilient supply chain has been influential not only for academia but for practitioners and policymakers for a sustainable future. He has also led several projects funded by reputed organizations like the ICSSR and the Ministry of Law and Justice, addressing critical issues like MSME development and municipal waste management. I'd like to invite Professor Binita Tiwari from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Kharagpur, to kindly felicitate Professor Vikas Thakur. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much to all the guests. To mark the beginning of this auspicious event, we will now proceed with the lighting of the lamp ceremony, offering our prayers to the goddess of light of knowledge and wisdom. As we light this lamp today and pray to Goddess Saraswati, let it be a reminder of our commitment to the pursuit of knowledge. May this course illuminate our minds and guide us towards wisdom. I would like to invite all the professors to come forward and do the honors. Ma'am, please join. Thank you so much. As the light has been lit, may the wisdom light be also lit as we introduce this course. I would now like to request Professor Gishore Goswami, our head of department and our chief guest for today, to kindly address the gathering and kickstart this course with some words of wisdom.
Professor Chaudhary from Durham University, Dr. Vikas Thakur, Dr. Binita, my dear participants, both offline as well as online, a very good morning and most welcome to this today's event. On behalf of that Department of Humanities and Social Sciences and on my personal behalf, I welcome you all to this Gyan course on smart, sustainable and resilient economy. So, when we talk about smart economy, I am happy that over the years, IIT developed many smart rooms and this smart economy or this particular Gyan course is taking place in a smart room. So when we talk about smart economy, as a layman's understanding, so we have to be before time. We have to be, in general, when we talk about smart, means we have to be before time, so that there will not be any excuse. Things are moving before time or well in advance. Say, for example, if we look at Indian economy now, in many aspects, India's movement with respect to, or India's movement or different economic development or in the development in different fronts of our economy, India's movement is very, very smart in nature. Be it defense sector, be it different infrastructure development, as well as in many dimensions, be it hospitality, be it space technology, in many dimensions. But smart economy is not sufficient alone. When we talk about smart, along with that, sustainability is very, very important. Because unless it is sustainable, then there will be, there may be a boom, but immediately after that, there may be a very slow growth, or maybe development may not be a continuous process if it is not sustainable. So to make it sustainable, definitely I am sure that our distinguished guest, as well as I understand, some speakers are also coming and they will join in coming days. So this, I believe that this course will be an eye-opener for many of you. And along with that, another component, I am sure that in this particular course they will give more emphasis on resilient economy. Particularly in recent times, resilient economy is very, very important. Or to make an economy sustainable, resilience is very, very important, or it becoming very, very important. Although many of us do such kind of research in different dimensions, but when we, at macro level, when we talk about resilient economy, then it becoming very, very important. Particularly, it becoming very, very important, keeping in mind that recent world order, or you can say recent disturbances in many countries. Because you have to, and all of you, if you are having some basic knowledge about economy, then most of you will know it actually. What happened with Ukraine and Russia war, or what is going on in even in Israel or in other parts, what disturbances is going on, and how different countries' economy badly suffered because of that war. So I am sure that different speakers will speak on different topics and which will enrich your knowledge. And I am not an expert in many of these areas, and I hope that you will have a pleasant stay here. Though 5 days will be, I believe, will be a very hectic coursework, or it's 5 days or 7 days? 5 days. But within these 5 days, if possible, try to explore this IIT's environment also and see those who are coming from outside. So if possible, try to explore this IIT particularly Kharagpur. This is the first IIT, and our department is one of the oldest department in IIT system. I meet one of our alumni, quite aged, around 8-9 years back. He did a course in our department on industrial psychology, and his batch was 1958. And during that time, it was a, I think, 1 year or 1.5 year course. So over the years, this department also developed a lot. And presently, those who are from IIT, outside IIT Kharagpur, for them, that I am just telling you that presently we are having a two full-fledged course. One is BS and MS in economics. In 2005, we introduced, or we started it in IIT system for the first time. IIT Kharagpur and IIT Kanpur started this one. But our course is running quite well. And initially it was 5-year integrated MSc, but now it is BS and MS in economics. From 2020, we started this one as BS and MS. And along with that, we are having a master's level course that is called Masters in Human Resource Management. Earlier it was MTech, but over the years we changed it also. We changed its syllabus structure also. in that way. It is again an evolving, but it is a quite old program. But over the years, because in between it was earlier for 1.5 year, but our alumni were facing some problem with respect to their job and other dimensions. So accordingly, it also evolved, and now at present it is a 2-year master's program. Along with that, we are having many more programs, but you will know it gradually. So with these few words, I am just wish a very good luck and hope that it will be a very successful program. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. It gives us all hope. I now request Professor Atanu Chaudhary to come and share a few words of wisdom and fuel the fire to start the course with.
A very good morning to all of you. I extend my gratitude to IIT Kharagpur and particularly Professor Goswami and Professor Thakur for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. I have been doing some work in the areas which we will cover in this course on sustainability and resilience, and particularly use of digital technologies. I will try to make it as interactive as possible because I think a lot of very exciting work is currently being done in India. There are very interesting problems which we need to solve collectively as research scholars, and there is a lot of opportunity for you to engage in this area. Compared to rest of the world, I have worked many years in the industry. In India, I have worked in IIM Lucknow before. I have worked in Denmark in the engineering faculty and now in the business school in Durham. I have seen many industrial challenges, many challenges faced in the local communities and areas. But I think India is at a very, very good stage right now because of the adoption of digital technologies and the momentum which has been given by the government and the different agencies in particularly focusing on sustainability and building resilience. So the world is looking up to India because the sheer scale of challenges which India has, as well as the population and the scale of operations which India has, it is unparalleled in any other parts of the world. So if we can solve problems in India with knowledge, with analytical tools and techniques and methods, it will be an eye-opener for the rest of the world. So do I try to bring in some of the perspectives which I have learned over the years? I think you can equally contribute a lot because you are seeing some of these challenges here. Many of you might have already worked on some of these problems or working on this as part of PhD. So I would like to make it as interactive as possible, and we'll together learn in this journey. As a professor, as an academic, we learn more through these interactions. It's not that I have all the wisdom to share with you. At the same time, I will expect that you share something which you are doing, and I think together we will learn much more if we keep that in mind. With that, I will close, and obviously we will engage in these next 5 days in a lot of interesting discussions and case studies and so on. Looking forward to interacting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now request Professor Vikas Thakur, course coordinator, to kindly address the gathering and also give the vote of thanks to begin the course with finally.
Good morning, one and all present here. Professor Kishore Goswami, chairman for this workshop and head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. Professor Atanu Chaudhary, Durham University, UK, and Professor Vinita Tiwari, Professor Ravinder Kumar Pradhan, thank you, sir, for joining, and all dear participants. This global initiative for academic networks, this purposeful initiative was taken by the Indian government. I think it was started long back, somewhere around 2014, and almost 11 years now, and many programs have been done. And the very basic purpose was how we can connect our Indian talent with the international platform, right? And the very basic purpose is to channelize this scheme through HEIs, higher educational institutions of India, not only in IITs, but many other reputed universities are doing. And the platform is provided to explore what problems we are facing here, and then to collaborate with the foreign expertise and how we can solve the Indian problems related to entrepreneurship, related to research, academia, whatever we are doing here. So with that basic purpose, I thought of designing this course as Smart, Sustainable and Resilient Economy, as already mentioned about the course by Professor Kishore Goswami as well, and Professor Atanu Chaudhary also. So the approach is obviously, in the end, whatever we are doing should be sustainable so that we can survive for longer. But yes, in that way, looking at the current scenario as well, not only in one particular area, but almost in every area. You can see, you can observe your life also. We are surrounded by so many apps. Even for walking, you have app. Even for healthcare appointment, you have app. Even for anything, for drinking, eating, whatever you are doing, you have app, right? So in that way, we have grown more smarter. Not we have grown smarter. We were smarter earlier, but now we want our devices should be smart. So when we are saying that our devices should be smart, it is very, very important how we can make it resilient also, because what will happen if those devices will crash someday, will be hijacked by someone, right? So in that way, and then obviously you talk about natural disaster or man-made disaster, so it is very important to design the resilient system. Keeping in mind, we have designed the sessions touching almost all the aspects of this. Primary focus is we have included smart city concept as well, where we talk about smart environment, smart mobility, smart people, smart talent, smart infrastructure, everything, right? So I have tried to touch all those points, including in these 5-day program, right? So the structure of the program will be, we will be having 2 sessions in the first half, 1 hour each. We will be starting around 10 to 11 first session, and then 11:30 to 12:30, right? And in the evening, we will be having some exercise related to what we are covering in the morning session. That will be for 2 hours, 3:30 to 5:30. So I would like thank to all the participants, and our participants are research scholars, few faculties are also there, and some PG students have also joined. So because there was some limitation, we could not get the accommodation on day before yesterday, they confirmed only for today. So people are, they were expected to arrive in the early morning, but because trains are running late and all those things. So then we have, I think now people must be joining, right? So once again, thank you so much for joining. And I wish that you will enjoy these 5 days here. And as our HOD already invited you to visit our home, and then you feel what we are doing here at IIT Kharagpur, right? So wish you all the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vikas sir. Thank you to all the professors for all the inspiring words. With such wisdom guiding us, we are sure to have an enriching experience ahead. Today, as we gather in this hall, we are not just opening a course, but igniting a dialogue about shaping economies and organizations that are intelligent, sustainable, and future ready. This course is more than just a learning opportunity. It is a call to action for everyone who dares to envision a smarter, greener, and more resilient future. Before I conclude, I would also like to invite and remind everybody to make the most of this opportunity, network, ask questions, and immerse yourself in this learning experience. I would also
Conclude, I would request Professor Pradhan to say a few words. Please.
We have Professor Pradhan. He's a professor at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. His area is organizational behavior, psychology, and management. I request Professor to please come and address the gathering.
Good morning to all of you. Professor Goswami, Head of the Department, Department of Humanities and Social Science. Professor Chaudhary, thank you for joining us all the way from Durham University. Professor Thakur, Professor Tiwari, all my colleagues and delegates across the country, students, faculties. This is a very, very innovative initiatives that Government of India is doing for last couple of years. And time to time, IIT Kharagpur has been on the front runner in the, taking up this kind of initiatives and delivering to the academic community. I'm sure that this course designed by Professor Thakur will add new knowledge to the existing domains and will open up many avenues for deliberations and discussions. So already the experts and the coordinators have already highlighted about the kind of things they are going to happen in the next couple of days, and I'm sure that it will be a very meaningful additions to our academic endeavors. So with these few words, I once again welcome you to IIT Kharagpur, and I'm sure that you will have a very valuable times and enjoyable in this campus, not only in terms of academic interactions, but also in terms of networking and finding research collaborations with different faculties. As you all know that this is the largest, biggest, and the oldest IITs, and we have more than 35 departments and centers. That's the beauty of in technological institutes like IIT Kharagpur, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
I'm really sorry, I forgot to thank the team. Sorry, Divanshi, Priyasha, and two new members to the team, Kiran and Shweta. Thank you for making this happen. So you can proceed.
Thank you so much, sir, for organizing this event. I think this is a reminder that sustainability as a concept is very interdisciplinary. And as you would observe, we have professors and scholars from across domains. We have professors ranging from marketing, supply chain, HR, psychology. So that exemplifies the beauty of what we are doing, and it will enhance the interaction of major perspectives that we have towards sustainability. So before I conclude, again, I would remind you to network, ask questions, and immerse yourself in this learning experience. I would also like to warmly welcome you to the beautiful campus. Hope you enjoy its serenity and peace. Once again, welcome to the Gyan course on Smart, Sustainable, and Resilient Economy. Thank you so much. We'll begin in the next 5 days with our first session for the day.
start the first session on role of digitalization and its applications for both resilient and sustainable economy. So I have a lot of material. I think it will be all shared with you. I will not go through everything, but we'll have more engaging discussions. And later on in the evening, or even tomorrow, if you want to look back at some of these material, some of the other readings, we will go through that. So broadly, the agenda for this session will be that we will talk about digital transformation and data-driven innovation in different industries. We look at a little bit on smart energy for smart cities, and we'll also talk about how organizations need to change to embrace this transformation for executing any data-driven or digital transformation. Before we start, that was my original idea, that spend some time, maybe another next 10 minutes, trying to think of, are they able to see the slides? Are you able to see?
Just a minute. Yes, slides.
So I will request all of you, you can even work in groups if you want, to choose a particular problem related to sustainability. Now it is now coming here. Yeah, it should. Because this is not coming in the...
It's coming. It's coming. They are working on it.
So broadly what I am requesting you is try to choose a problem which will follow through in this course every day. When in the evening sessions we will have some tutorial, we'll have different case studies, but keep this problem in your mind. Whatever you think you are passionate about, it can be a company related problem or an industry problem, or even the local area where you live or the communities, anything related to sustainability and resilience. As I said, either related to a specific company or an industry or a specific region or community. And through the course, we should reflect on, and you can make your own points. Whatever we are discussing on digital technology adoption or sustainability or building resilient frameworks, you can then think about how does all of this relate to the problem which you have chosen. Some of these may be not fully relevant for you, some of these may work or may not work, so you have that discussion. And everything we know, for every technology or different frameworks, all of these cannot be applied to our specific problem. Problem context requires certain kinds of synthesis and idea, and some may not work, some may work. So keep that in mind. So next maybe 5 minutes I will request you to keep that problem in mind, which you are very passionate about and you want to solve. And then maybe you can tell us what is the problem you are going to work on. Okay, thank you. Is it clear? If some of you want to work in groups together, that is also fine. So finally, whatever we learn, we should be able to apply to solve some real problems which the country is facing or the industry is facing. When my background has been in industry, I worked many years, and a lot of my research is actually motivated by the real problems. So I think this is very important. So we set the context of why we are learning this, right? So we should be able to solve some real problems. Maybe we will not be able to fully succeed in this, but at least it gives us the opportunity to think about whatever we are learning, some theories and concepts and frameworks, and how different companies or different countries have adopted. Can it be applied in Indian context, or is it very different, or why is it different? So that question we should always question ourselves. Whenever you are ready, if you want to share, please share those problem areas with me. Anybody, any thoughts?
Not really the problem, but a broader problem, which I was thinking. You know, our country is very price sensitive. So therefore, you know, when you take sustainable measures, whether in the industry or anywhere, so there is a cost element to it also.
Yes.
Whether it is, you know, food. So now one picture that we can see here is, you know, the paradox is we have a sapling and we have a plastic water bottle in a sustainable conference. That is a kind of
Yes.
what I am talking about. the
Yeah.
trade-offs. Okay. So now one greater point is, since you know, this kind of conference can be organized either by the operations department or any other department.
Yes.
But since this is specifically related to HSS, right, how can we actually, you know, technological solutions are there, but the human mindset,
Yes.
how can we actually change that going forward? Because, you know, there are people who want to practice it, but again, as I told you, that you are going to a shop and you have an organic product and this, and the price difference is so much that
Yeah.
you really can't, you know, afford that. So while the heart is there, but the mind cannot do that.
Yeah.
So that is the broader thing, you know, which I think,
Yeah.
in order to give a push,
Yeah.
so that mindset change, how to bring about that, is something which I am really looking forward to.
No, that is very interesting. Both the points which you mentioned, clearly all of this have some investment, require some investments, which then impact the pricing, and this improves the buying power. So there is a trade-off. In most cases, there will be some trade-offs. The other point which you mentioned, at an organization level, at an individual level, it's a mindset. There is a lot of transformation which needs to happen to embrace any of these things. So particularly large organizations, it's a very difficult process, any kind of change. This is possibly not the way they have been doing business for many years, but now sustainability is already central to many companies' agenda. That doesn't mean that every problem has been solved. They are also taking baby steps. Maybe in the last 10 years they have done something, but still a lot of work needs to be done. Any other points? This is a very interesting problem. So you can reflect on whatever you are learning specifically for this. Anything else? Anybody else would like to talk about? Okay, I mean, we will not spend too much time, but you in your mind, you don't need to tell everybody or tell me right now, but keep that context in mind, right? So this is the problem I am very interested in. So whatever we are learning, can these be applied in this context? And if not, then why not? Or if yes, then why yes? Right? I will start with this picture. This is a lot of data driven innovation. This is one of the earliest examples. What can you notice from this? Does it ring a bell? Many of you might have already seen this. Right? This is an example from London. You can see that there are some street names there. There are some red dots, and there are some blue taps somewhere mentioned. What do you think this map signifies, or why was it used? Anything which comes to your mind?
The accumulation of more of the dots are at the middle of the point
Hmm.
on a bigger spread.
Yeah.
So it might be showing that people are, whatever the things are, they are accumulated at a point rather than being spread over throughout the city kind of thing.
Okay, that's a fair point. It's actually a good start. This is related to a cholera outbreak which happened in London in 1813, I think. So one of the civil engineers working in the municipal corporation, he drew this map. So this is showing the number of deaths in the area, but every by street. In this street, these many people died. So obviously you can see some of the bigger dots. So many people died in this street, Broadwork Street or whatever, right? So he simply collected the data of deaths, and the size of the dots indicate the number of people who died. But what is interesting is, what is the problem you think he is trying to solve? Obviously, they have to solve this problem of reducing the deaths or making it zero based on which happened because of the cholera outbreak. So he is entrusted with the task of solving the problem. How can we save people's lives from cholera, which is going on in London at that time? So first thing he did, he collected data about deaths. Where is the data he have? But what he did also is trying to then map them by the different streets. But he also has any municipal corporation will also have the data of where taps are there. That time there are no even in London there was no piped water to houses. There are community taps where people will go and collect water. So you can see the maximum deaths happened in this where this tap is there. So that maybe the more contamination is happening here. These ones nothing much happened. So all the people who collected water from possibly this tap died. So this was the first example of kind of data visualization, right? Data visualization and then problem solving using that root cause. So he actually the simplest solution was to took out this tap and then obviously it was sent for some analysis whether the level of bacterial contamination was there or not, but he simply changed that tap and that reduced the deaths because that tap was possibly contaminated. Right? This is an earliest example of kind of data visualization and analytics, which is kind of more than 200 years ago. We have moved a lot from those years in early 1800s to now. Lot of digital transformation is happening. There are many different technologies which are adopted by different industries. We hear about autonomous robots, we hear about 3D printing, blockchain, augmented reality, big data analytics, industrial IoT, so many things. Even a lot of Indian companies have adopted this. But as Professor was mentioning, it's very difficult to navigate so many different technologies. We need to understand which is the particular technology or a set of technologies which is beneficial to achieve certain outcomes. This technology adoption is obviously we have to keep in mind this is not technology adoption per se, but we are trying to achieve certain outcomes, we are trying to address some problems and can these technologies support or facilitate us or act as enablers. Generally technology adoption is always an enabler. This is not a solution by itself, right. It will require many other things to happen and technology is kind of supporting that enabler. So we will follow that common theme of which technology and why those may be useful for addressing some of the specific problems. I give an example of this is again an Indian example. Some of you might have seen this. Have any of you heard about this company called Aati Motors? This was started by a 14-year-old boy, maybe in 2014 or 15. He was a school dropout. He didn't even complete his high school, possibly he completed his 10th grade. But he was always fascinated by robots, fascinated by coding. He learned coding himself and then he went to one of the professors in IISc with his idea and they together, and he was very convinced, the professor was convinced that this boy has indeed had a lot of interesting ideas and they together worked on it. Right now you can search, they have created a very interesting product which is shown here. There are many different versions of it. So this is an autonomous robot used in factory or warehouse environment, fully automated, and it can also navigate different terrains. In our factory floors are not always smooth, our warehouses are also not smooth, maybe even the access to this is not smooth. So it can pretty much work on a different terrain. So this is one example of how, and they included many things which is unique to the Indian context and everything is programmed in. So this is mainly used for transporting goods within a factory or a warehouse. You can see if you go to now Amazon or other warehouses, you will see many robots. But this is a completely indigenously developed robot looking at the problems being faced in the factory or warehouse floors in India. And that's how he came out with this idea. Now they have this product which is also selling not just in India, but in different parts of the world. So I will give you many such examples which came either from India or different parts of the world where people have used technology to address some of the problems. At the other extreme, we also see big companies like GE or Siemens or Bosch. They have now developed IoT enabled digital twins and completely smart factories, right, with very little human intervention, almost everything working with clockwork like precision, all the machines are connected, you can connect data through sensors, you can have adaptive control, you can do the quality assurance, everything is done kind of autonomously with very little human intervention or paperwork. But again, it is very difficult that entire factory cannot be completely smart in Indian context, and increasingly we are also looking at solutions where technology will work together with human, right, cobots. So, you need to work, human and machine needs to work together. Similarly, at a more consumer level, we are also seeing these examples, like when you are trying to buy a car, Audi has come out with this. You can actually use VR, virtual reality, to find out the experience, the surroundings, the interiors of the car. You actually maybe experience this beforehand, before you go to the showroom. In the showroom, you again kind of extend that to see whether it matches what you need and you are trying to buy. Why do you think a car company is doing? They also want to understand our needs. They are collecting this data, and maybe this will lead to some different kinds of accessories design or different types of interior design. So, essentially they are using this, they are collecting lot of data about individual customer preferences. But customers also get something which is, they have the feeling that this is kind of customized for me. But also for virtual reality or augmented reality, there are a lot of applications now in servicing a car. Previously it was very skill dependent, the individual technician, we all know in our garages or different service centers, it is the individual person, maybe that mechanic is very skilled, but once that person leaves, a lot of knowledge is lost. How to, and everybody will not be, cannot be trained to the same level, right. But if you have all of these, let us say manuals or how to guides, and it's available on a digital platform, then once a car comes in which needs to be serviced, then with a touch of a button the technician can really diagnose the problem, also understand what needs to be done, which parts need to be replaced, all of the things are available. So, it kind of in a way de-skills the person, but at the same time makes sure that all the standard operating practices, all the best practices are followed, right. It is not so much human dependent, because with the human dependent some mistakes might happen, they might forget something. In this it will not happen. Taking this idea of connectivity forward, this is an example I found when I used to work in Denmark. There is a company called Grundfos, which is a pump company, right. Obviously, pump companies manufacture and sell pumps, but they realized at that point of time, already 10-15 years ago, that their business model is changing. So, they are not necessarily selling just pumps, but these devices have to be connected, devices have to be smart. We will have to connect lot of data about usage of the pump and what conditions, what temperature, humidity, etc. And then using that data, can we provide better service to the customers, and these customers are, many of them are industrial customers, be it a factory, it is an oil refinery, or it is a pharmaceutical plant where these pumps are used. But remember, for those customers, servicing a pump or maintaining a pump is not their core business, right. So, they are running their factory, they are using this pump for a specific application, but if you want to improve the performance of the pump, that is, they are not the best people to do it. So, ideally Grundfos is the best person to do it. So, they will, so then they realize that pump was initially the product, then I will sell pump plus some spares and other kind of services. Then people may not even buy a pump. Nowadays, we are moving to where we are leasing or renting this. So, pump essentially becomes a service. From a product, it becomes a completely different scenario, that pump itself is a service. They will not buy the pump, but whatever the pump is, maybe have a flow rate of this at this temperature from this height to this height, that itself is specified, and you have to provide that as a service. Finally, even water or fluid as a service. You do not even care whether you are using a pump, maybe there is another device, right. So, but from a company's perspective, this is a very different business model, from selling a product or a pump to selling pump as a service or water or fluid as a service. It requires lot of changes. Without data collection and analytics, they will not be able to navigate this journey. There are many examples of these, what we call in operations or supply chain literature, about servitization, right. So, product based companies are moving to service led business models, because that is where they also make more money, and in a way this is also supporting sustainability, because you are not necessarily buying the product, you are trying to optimize the usage and the performance of the product, and also moving to a more leasing or renting kind of a business model. So, Caterpillar is another company which makes big construction equipment vehicles. They have already moved in that direction. But as the professor was mentioning, it is a long process. Even if it makes sense conceptually, how do we really implement it? There are many challenges. This business model transformation has to happen. Customer also have to accept this. Customer education is important. There is a lot of cultural and organizational shift which needs to happen. There are, remember, the salespeople in these companies, they are always trained to sell the products. Suddenly they are selling service. The value proposition they have to communicate to the customer is totally different, and it might seem costly to the customer initially, but you have to show that over a period of usage of that pump, maybe over 10-15 years, the customer will actually save money. So, that requires certain calculations and life cycle analysis and so on, and salespeople will not be initially not be trained in this. So, it requires a huge amount of transformation to do this. It also requires investment in data security and privacy. A lot of data is collected. Always the question arises, is this whose data? You are collecting data from my factory where this pump is installed, but is it my data or your data? You are then using it for different purpose. How do I know whether you are using the data also to sharing the data with my competitors or not? So, all these kind of questions arise. There are many such companies. This is another, and why I give this example is, always it is not the large companies. Many small companies are also moving in this direction. So, this is a company called TrackWrap. So, they make this packaging solutions, and they make the machinery for packaging. Right? In any factory or even in airports, we see our luggages are kind of wrapped and packed. Right? So, they make the machines which then do the packaging for different kinds of products. It is a small to medium company, and they also realized that finally how many wraps they are able to do in what amount of time, that is what customers are interested in. They are not really interested in buying the machine. So, they also moved in this direction. Obviously, they partnered with Siemens. Siemens was providing the platform for collecting the data, but it was installed in their machines and they moved. So, it requires a movement toward more integrated life cycle solutions, not just a single product sold to the customer and you forget it. You have to now track and manage the data over the usage of the life cycle of the product. So, increasing customer intensity, customer centricity, moving to complete integrated solutions, emphasis on contracting and agreements, what data will customers provide. Or also project management. Once the customer has bought it, they are not the experts in this. Once this is used, how this will be implemented in the company, that project management part is also responsibility of this company now. An emphasis on also customer intelligence, that means collecting data about its usage and providing that dashboard or feedback back to the customers. This also requires moving from kind of remote diagnostics to fully digital solutions. I understand some of these may be a little bit more technical, but I am also coming from engineering and operations background. But you will see, you can reflect on how each of these things require some organizational elements, some training elements and people mindset. So, moving from condition based monitoring to dynamic planning of maintenance to asset performance, many companies are also now having a control tower where they have everything full digital visibility of how their different assets are working. Right? Geolocation technologies, GPS, but in a more industrial context, and finally, autonomous systems and AI. Collecting lot of unstructured data, some are text data, some are numeric data, what usage. Sometimes in this kind of factory environments, maintenance records are still manual. People are writing some of the maintenance history. So, there will be some text. Some of these are moved to digital, but some of these still may remain in a text form. So, how do we use these different formats, and whenever a machine is not starting, for example, can we quickly diagnose? So, this requires, so Siemens Gamesa and Honeywell, they have been doing. Siemens, I have seen this in Denmark, they have a factory. So, they make large wind turbines, and I went to their control center once. There were 5 people monitoring more than 2000 wind turbines, only 5 people sitting in one room. They have different screens, and they have, those people have actually developed models. They have developed 53 machine learning based models to predict failure of parts within the wind turbine. Now they have converted everything to a digital solution, and on a screen they can monitor. And if something is coming up based on their models which shows that something is likely to fail, or there is a possibility of some kind of a breakdown, they are already alerted. Based on that, they send the maintenance technician. Sometimes they are able to do remotely, but they all built the models in house. None of them were data scientists. They are all kind of physicists or different mechanical or reliability engineers, and they build using their knowledge, they build these models, and then they were using this with only 5 people monitoring 2000 plus wind turbines across the world. Right? Similar things also can be done, but depending on, as we again said, yes, we have some question.
This part I want to understand that sometimes I may be from a chemical based industry and my core competency is not this, so I outsource it to a
Yeah.
Siemens or some kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now sometimes we also have the risk of getting trapped
Yeah.
because they are controlling, like you said, remote controlling
Yeah.
passwords and lot of things.
Yes.
And even if we try to transfer that knowledge, so they are not forthcoming with sharing the knowledge. So it's just very basic things that they share.
Yeah.
So in that sense, and also like and we are actually depending on them to build up our whole internal system integrated. So sometimes it is very difficult for us to exit from the contract clause to some other competitor because we are specifically after
Yes.
year 1, year 2, year 3 like that.
Yes. That's why when you take this decision, it has to be thought of very well. It is a long term contract. It's difficult to come out of these contracts. But at the same time, if this company is providing enough value to you, it doesn't matter you lose a little bit of a control. That is the basis of any kind of outsourcing.
Problem is, sir,
Yeah.
not that. If everything is smooth, then
Yeah.
it's fine. But sometimes what it happens is that there is some kind of disalignment or
Yes.
disengagement, and it might be because
No, yes. That part particularly is this data security and data ownership becomes a problem.
and sometimes these companies also, what I have seen is they phase out their products, and what happens is that you have to get the intentionally perhaps that, they, and that's a huge kind of like as you said, as a service.
Yes.
I can tell you that past one experience of mine that a company was a software IT hardware company was they gave us a quotation for some value, and I told the management that it's not wise to go in for this inventory because it will be difficult to dispose of also. So you go off for a leasing or renting kind of thing. Now they were when the negotiation came, they went down if I buy it outright, they are willing to give a huge discount. But in that leasing or renting part, it almost comes out to be the same. Only. But still we went for the leasing and renting. So this pricing factor also.
Yes. That is very, very important. That's why I'm glad that you did that calculation and analysis. That many companies are not even doing that. Then it comes very much as a surprise to them. So when you create a business case, this entire life cycle also has to be over 15-20 years. What is the value? And we create some kind of decision models, decision tree. There is a bit of uncertainty. Things may not work. They might go out of business. All of these things have to be taken care of. If it's not a single one-time decision for this kind of assets, right? This is high valued assets for you. You are sharing lot of your IP and data with this company. But again, most of the companies may not have internal expertise to do anything like this. That's why Siemens, I liked it. They actually developed everything in-house from scratch. There were 5 people they motivated, and they were all, as I said, none of them, these people had real expertise in building those models. They were metallurgical engineers or reliability engineers, but they learned everything on their own and they did this. Right? Maybe there was some incentive for them, they got promoted or got a high thing, but they developed, and some of the European companies I have seen, there is not a hurry. Everybody is doing, so we have to do now. They are willing to do very thorough work even if it takes for 2-3 years. Then they are able to do it. Sometimes we are under lot of pressure because there is a competitive pressure and other things, and we already kept it late. So then you don't have much time. Within 6 months you have to do it. These things cannot happen in 6 months. Right? It requires a lot of serious thought and analysis.
That is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Building the environment to,
Yeah.
promote or nurture this internally is very, very important for an
Plus, even if it's outsourced to somebody else, there has to be an internal team who fully understands this and the implications of it. If you are completely dependent, then you will be taken for a ride. They will understand that you don't know much of it, right? You are simply an user. You don't know what is going inside these models, how it works. Then so this is important to, even if you kind of give it to somebody else, have that internal expertise. Some people.
Practicality is that most organizations, they don't, like you said, that there has to be some resource persons who are given the incentive and also the environment in the organization. As it is, they are such loaded with their own work that
Yes.
Getting them to
Yes.
get that is also.
This is something outside their regular duty they are doing, right? But some companies, when you will see that they are allowing some portion of their time that you can work on innovative projects, right? You cannot work more than 100% all the time. So they will say 20% of the time, maybe one day in a week, you devote to this work. There are other such examples. This is also another company. This was formed by people who used to work in Volvo construction equipment. So this is a company based in Sweden, Track Unit. So for all the construction equipment machines, they use these telemetry solutions. So they collected lot of data, even in terms of how the driver is driving this product, what is the braking frequency, how much fuel is consumed, driver's usage patterns, and then they could optimize it. So one big problem was whenever a vehicle is needed like this is not available. This is under breakdown, this is not working, the drivers are also not available. So they realized they need to collect this data, and that's why this company Track Unit came in, and then they are now doing this for many of the construction equipment suppliers. I will not move into, there are things similar to this, but maybe to move into have this discussion around product as a service model, there are many things which needs to happen. One is a technological solution, but improved communication of this customer value. That is the first thing. As a service providers, most of them are highlighting only the technological solution. They fail to highlight what is the real business benefit or value to the customer. That's not easy to do, that economics part, the financial implications of it, unless that person is both trained in the they can also understand the technical aspects as well as trained in the business and the economic and the financial evaluations. Many people will not be able to do this. Then the appropriate pricing model, as I said. So it should not look like you are charging more just because you are moving to a service model. The initial upfront investment may be high, but over a period of time, life cycle of 20 years usage, you will actually save money. But that whatever savings you are doing has to be communicated to the customer. Also internally cross-functional communication, both within your company as well as in the customer company. Even in the customer's company, it's not just the marketing or business development people maybe you are interacting with, or maybe their procurement people you are interacting with, but they are not the users. The users are maybe the people in the factory, maybe people in the service, or maybe even a technician. So it's always we say that we need to talk to every level of users. Maybe the CIO is taking the decision, but the CIO is not using this machine, it's being used by either the production team or the service team or even service technicians. A good company is who will interact with all these kinds of people and try to understand their pain points, and then demonstrate to almost each of these stakeholders how this solution is adding value to them. Any questions at this stage? So we have talked about some product as service solutions. We looked at a few digital technology examples, AR, VR. We talked about autonomous robots. Yeah. Okay.
You first of all said that you may solve the problem, but I have think that one problem that in India there are many more than 2, 3, 4 crores in our India retailer shops. But now time is to this part coming a very big giant companies like you example that when we go to grocery stores in early days, but now time came like Blinkit, Zepto. First of all, they are say that we are go small retailers and keep the things and we deliver people. But now they are do that. They are direct deal with big company and they come they store that product and then they delivers people. So it that going that how small retailers are survive this situation. This is very
Yes.
very big problem that one survey was doing that more than 80 lakh retailers are very disappointed and they have nothing to do what in early days are coming. That what is the solution in
Yes.
this
There is no
time
easy
situation?
solution, but you gave example of retail, but this is happening everywhere, even restaurants in the same way. We are all buying using Zomato or Swiggy. Individual restaurants are also, they are pressurized a lot, right? Their margins are reducing. Many of them are going out of business. Previously, we used to know all the restaurants. Now we don't know because they are almost, their name has been removed from our memory. We are buying using all the food delivery platforms. Same thing is also happening with retail. So there is a limit to, I personally feel there is a place for everybody, right? If some player or some solution is taking the jobs away or completely decimating a particular industry, that's not possibly good. Not possibly good, particularly also in the Indian context. In all the villages and in the small towns, if everybody starts only using digital platforms, this is also creating pressure on the customers and the senior citizens. They are not able to buy this. They are not able to use the apps properly. Even if they have to always go, even in Bangalore I have seen, so people are, even the autos or the rickshaws, you have to now book using Ola app. And the older people are finding difficult even to just go 10 minutes. Previously there used to be a local auto fellow. Now they are all Ola, right? So this is also, so this is related to also digital divide. It is creating a huge digital divide in the society. It is marginalizing lot of retailers or small businesses, and suddenly all the power is in the hands of very few entities who are essentially using them. You are creating a platform, but you are trying to buy and you are squeezing them, you are trying to get the maximum out of them, but they are losing lot of money. So it's a question, it's a catch-22 situation for these. If these players do not join the platform, they lose. If they join the platform, they also lose, right? So there has to be some kind of an economics language, has to be an equilibrium solution for something. What is the limit to where we will allow this to happen? Maybe you have some points.
In this connection only, it's, he talked about Blinkit and Zepto. So, like, what I feel is, like, even if you look at the gig workers who are engaged, their work hours are extreme.
Yes.
They are paid very poorly.
Yes.
Okay. And somehow, what I feel is that is another aspect that we need to look into, even the
Yes.
government, or because they are the, policy decision makers. And
Yes.
what I referred was, that you also referred to a very good point, because there are, senior citizens who get down at a railway station or airport, and there they are, coming after a long journey, and they are not very much savvy. So you should have these options, like we have options for credit card, net, whatever, these kind of things. So there should always be options. So this is a simple policy related matter. Now, governance and is also a very much an important arm in this,
Yes.
sustainability thing. So we should realize, but I see that a lot of these, nowadays, the government, etc., they are getting those electoral bonds some kind of donations, and while there they have a duty towards society, it is more towards corporates and etc. that they are, and then
Plus, there may
government
be a
supports.
different motive, right? We all thought demonetization and then all the UPI payments, but now government is using that for taxing purpose. Suddenly, all these people, even the roadside vendor, have to pay tax because that's a big problem. Maybe the government's big motivation was to increase more people who are paying taxes. We cannot blame the government for that. But then, a lot of data has been kind of, people had to share a lot of data. But what you will see, what I find difference between India and some of the other countries, Germany as an example, they will keep the personal life and the industrial completely different. Industrial, they are highly digitalized, but in personal, they still pay using cash. Lot of the things are still done in the one way because exactly the same reason. They don't want to, finally it is for the society, right? If finally society is not benefiting or they are facing a lot of difficulties and you are getting power only in the hands of few people, they consciously decided that in personal digitalization's place we will go slow. In our case, we had to go personal digitalization at a much higher level, and the industry is actually lagging behind because maybe the realities are different. So, without being an expert, I cannot tell, but obviously maybe government thought that but at the same time India is also kind of given as an example of how digital payment system should work, which is not there anywhere in the world. But at the same time we are seeing some negative consequences, some unintended consequences, right. Maybe the initial motivation was different, but it is leading to some kind of unintended consequences that a lot of these either parts of the society is getting alienated or some of the smaller businesses are losing money.
Also, a lot of cyber crimes. And
Yes,
most
yes.
senior citizens are affected.
Yes, cyber crime rate I think in India is very high compared to other parts of the world. There are so many multi-factor authentications, even in banks everywhere in UK or in other parts of Europe. It is very difficult to navigate those systems for hackers. But Indian system, I think you still have some problems there. Okay, so I will. There are lots to discuss in this, as you can think about. I will just briefly. I do a lot of work on 3D printing. I will not talk a lot about it, but again, to show how technology also is facilitating sustainability. In this case, many of the examples where you see companies are manufacturing parts using 3D printing is to reduce the weight of the product, right. Instead of having, so previously an assembly used to be there with 30, 40, 50 parts. Suddenly, if you make an integral design, the individual assembly is so much of assembling, fastening, etc. is removed. And the internal design, as you can see here, is lattice structure design. So you can have more lightweighting structures. You don't need to have lot of solid metal inside the body. And this is particularly useful for aerospace and automotive applications, as you can see. Any few kilograms of the weight of the product you reduce, it directly impacts the fuel efficiency. That means you are reducing the consumption of fuel, which is indirectly then improving the carbon footprint of the product. But this is not the only reason. There are obviously also technical reasons of improving the durability of the product and so on. Lot of these are used for spare parts applications. So spare parts, again, keeping inventory of these parts are very difficult and costly. So this is reducing. Many countries, many companies are moving in this direction. Obviously, aerospace, automotive, medical device, these are more. But this is also from a sustainability point of view quite interesting. This is a very interesting example I found, and this was done by some of the students like you. So there was a master student in one of the UK universities. I think he was from Exeter. He was a design engineering student. As part of his master's project, he did a project. He was from the area of Cornwall. Cornwall is in the south of England. So this is all the sea beach town, very famous. Lot of fishing industry is there. And he grew up seeing lot of fishing nets being discarded in the ocean, right. And he said there has to be some problem which I will like to solve as part of my project. So he thought, how can we use that fishing net material to produce something? Luckily for him, there was another company in that same area who was collecting those fishing nets and they were converting those to 3D printing filaments. So, using that nylon they were making filaments. So, he also got in touch with that gentleman and tried to understand what is the material composition, and then he did a parallel study, and I was also quite shocked and amazed. I never knew this. It seems 97% of the buttons in the world comes from one city in China. Only 3% is produced elsewhere, Portugal, Turkey, little bit in India. Even simple buttons we do not produce, only one city in China. Can you imagine the carbon footprint of the buttons, which is going all over the world? So, he decided I will produce buttons. Obviously, UK had a long history of textile industry and buttons used to be produced. Nowadays, there is no button being produced in UK. So, he said I will use local material to produce buttons. Why do not I use this fishing net material to produce these buttons? So, he learnt everything about that process, the 3D printing, and he created these 3D printed buttons, and also specific application for shirts used by older people. So, these buttons are designed in such a way that it is very easy to remove, older people have less dexterity and so on. So, you can imagine the kind of project it is a very high risk project. For the one lesson for you is, do not follow what everybody else is doing, do something very different. This is a real problem he understood, because he lived in that area. Luckily for him, this company was also there. It is called Fishy Filaments. They take they make filaments out of these fishing nets, and using that material he is able to produce the buttons, and then later on he developed a company, and he is actually selling to big retailers these buttons now. Locally produced, very small carbon footprint, locally produced buttons using all discarded material. So, the carbon footprint of this he showed. So, 73 of these buttons produced locally is equivalent to one button produced in China. That name I forgot. I will try to find that out. Yeah, he said to me, I forgot. This 3D printing, let me skip. In 3D printing also there is a lot of security issues, right? You are sharing this file, sharing the design file. What if somebody copies? That is always a question in people's mind, like the OEM, the innovator who has the design, they are always very reluctant to share that file, because moment it is shared and then using that file somebody is producing that object, always it is there in people's mind. Many large companies, even Siemens told me that they are not going to do this with an external service provider. Siemens is doing everything internally, that is why they do not want to share this. That is why these companies like this Authentize, and there is another company which came up. Now, they are looking at only at the cyber security aspects of say 3D printing. Now, they are using blockchain or NFT based solutions. So, there is a complete traceability. Authentize solution was that this will be there for whatever times you want to use it, 4 times, 5 times. After that, the file automatically becomes corrupt. Nobody can use that file. If you are supposed to produce 5 parts, after that 5 part is produced, this becomes corrupt. But now there are more advanced solutions using non-fungible tokens or blockchain based solutions which are coming up. Blockchain also I have done some work. Again, you can see there are some good applications, but it has not taken off in the way, because it is very complex. Again, who is going to collect all of these data? Who is going to share all of these data, and which data ownership is there? Plus, on the ground implementing it's a big challenge, but still there are some good applications of it. In agriculture field, even in India, one of my previous IIM Lucknow student, he has a company called MR Innovations. They are doing lot with farmers in Maharashtra, fruit and vegetable farmers and cooperatives, and they have implemented blockchain solutions. It is important for Indian agricultural produce to tap into the export market. We do not see lot of Indian produce in European markets, mainly because of this either quality issues or lack of traceability of that quality. You always want who is the farmer, how did you produce it, what fertilizer you use, all of this data is not available to us. So, that is why some of these companies, even if you see they are coming up, and if all of this data is collected and made available to the buyer, then the buyer can very quickly see that you have followed the good practices, you have the certification, and then they can do this. Heineken is a beer company, but they have also used this for one particular raw material, which is hop, which is used as an additive in the beer. So, they also they collected lot of environmental data. So, what is the water consumption for this, what is the carbon footprint and water footprint, and then with the when you buy the beer, using the beer bottle, there is a QR code, you can actually check to see where it came from. Similarly, there are a lot of examples in coffee, in cocoa, this kind of agricultural commodity markets. Coffee, there is a company in Colombia, they have done this. So, previously we are paying a lot of money to Starbucks, right, but do you know how much money is paid to the farmer? If you are paying $5 for a coffee, the farmer is getting less than 1 cent, between 1 and 5 cent for something which is sold at $5, because it is buying in the commodity market, and the farmers are completely exploited, like the same way you are saying. Farmer is doing all the work, we are paying also as a lot, but farmer is not getting anything. So, what this company did, they collected lot of data, but the most important data was the farm gate price. That means the price paid to the farmer, they made it transparent. Now, everybody who is buying in the coffee supply chain also, there are many players, like there are roaster and others, that finally it is being exported. So, everybody now could see what is the price being paid to the farmer. Then when Starbucks and other big companies were buying, they were also shocked, they did not even know. They were paying maybe $3 something and they are selling at $5, but what is being paid to the farmer is even so low. Then they realize, unless we pay the farmer well, we are not going to buy, because that if that news comes out, then the big companies are aware of the negative press, that how come you are selling a coffee for $5 and the farmers who are producing the coffee is getting 1 cent, right. So, then they realized, okay, they should pay the farmer more, and it all started with that company. So, they made that price transparent, but they also collected lot of data about the practices in the farm and so on. But in similar case, it is not an easy problem. In the coffee supply chain, suppose in a village they are growing coffee, right, everybody also in the family is involved in coffee trade. Maybe you are a farmer, your uncle is actually buying from you, then somebody is selling, somebody is storing and warehousing. If all the middlemen are eliminated using blockchain, then they will also lose business. So, in this Colombia case, they said it will be a bloodbath in my village. People, my uncle will come and kill me if you do like this. So, that means in that case they could not remove all the middlemen. The middlemen were also, they will still continue to be there, but if everybody is benefiting from this, then they will have less incentive to defect, right. They will also be on the blockchain platform. There are other examples. Maybe this one is important for Indian context also. A lot of now you will see even IIT graduates or a lot of people with engineering degrees, they are involved in agriculture. I think this is a high need. This is absolutely addressing the real need of more scientific based farming, using also it can be used for weather forecasting, using the sensor to collect the moisture content in the soil or the soil composition, because everything, it is not that the farmers do not know anything, but their knowledge is restricted to age old practices which they have been doing. But now things have changed so much that the weather conditions are very different, the soil has been depleted of many of the nutrients. So, it has to be kind of customized for the local. That means you need to collect the data, find out what is the best cropping pattern, how to fertilize it, or what kind of water you want to reduce the water consumption. This cannot be done without technology, right. If the educated people, engineers get into this field, even optimizing the crop harvesting time, reducing the risk of disease and infestations, this will help, and many of the work currently done in India is in this area. Plus another very important area is healthcare, right. Any kind of technology adaptation, a lot of examples of different companies you will see they are using AI for now screening of patients, also screening of drugs to find out which drug combination will give the best results. That used to take a lot of time, but in this case, let us say for patients, prevention is always better than cure. So, if you are able to detect early chances of cancer or any kind of disease, but that is very difficult, that is very data intensive, and that is where technology, AI and other technologies are coming in. So, people are able to predict chances of a person contacting certain diseases. There are also many examples in retail, I will not cover this. so much, but this is a good example of, since we are talking about the transformation, this article I have put in the readings, you can see. This is about Unilever. Obviously, Unilever is a very big company, they have lot of resources, but you can see how they moved in their digital and data driven transformation journey. It also, even in Unilever, it is not so easy to do. This was always considered as a support function, any kind of analytics or market research, they are not core. But then this person came in, I think this Mr. Sthanunathan, who is one of the co-authors of this, he really transformed this market research function to something central for all kinds of decision making which is happening in Unilever. One part of it, and then he created many different projects on social media analytics, on analyzing Twitter chatter. So, this is really helpful for Unilever, but at the same time Unilever historically have been doing lot of research, and lot of those research are like the very big reports they have internally. So, he digitalized all of these, and those text data was analyzed. It is not that everybody has to reinvent the wheel. Maybe a study has been done in shampoo market in India for many years. Now, if you are trying to launch a shampoo, you should actually go back to what has been done before, like a literature review, right. But in a company like this, there were no option. Previously, a new marketing person comes, joins the company, maybe from one of the top business schools in India, they will have to start their own project on their own. But now they have an option to look at the data, the reports coming up from our older projects, synthesize those findings, and then move on to do something new. So, they created a lot of projects. I will strongly recommend that you go through this article. They also mention about this framework is very interesting. You see kind of a left brain and right brain thing. So, one is about data sources, obviously, right. So, you have to collect lot of data, which data to collect. Most companies struggle irrespective of whether it is a consumer company or industrial company. Typically, you can collect hundreds of thousands of different data points, but everything you do not need. Which are the top ones to collect? Some internal data, some external data. Then also, how do you integrate those data to create certain insights? You need strategy, marketing, communication, in this case of Unilever. Other companies might be something else. Plus, you also, many companies in consumer industries have realized, P&G and Unilever, that they cannot have all the expertise in house. There are many startups which are coming up who have lot of ideas and expertise, right. How do we use the knowledge generated by the startups? They bring them, they also fund them, and have that experimentation culture working with the startups and learn from them and use some of these. Finally, organizational capabilities need to be developed, internal training, some internal people needs to be developed, and this collaboration orientation. It is not function, not department, but how we work together to do this happen. So, this is even from a data or a digital transformation, this is very important. This is also okay, this one I can skip maybe. IKEA is a case we will cover on the 4th day, I think. Again, we will come back to that. So, they are using also a lot of digital activities in this. Yeah. So, this one, digital product passport. I do not know how much time, I think I already I am almost coming towards the close, but I will just briefly talk about this. This is part of my recent research. This is Indian companies are not still fully aware of it, but this is coming up in European Union. So, this is already part of European Union's government strategy, and starting from 2026 onwards, many products will have to have this passport. It is essentially the history of the product, both static data as well as dynamic usage of the product data will be captured through this chip, and on the product if you scan, you will be able to find it. Why European Union is doing this? Because first of all, many of the materials used in the product are not locally produced. So, there is a strong motivation to recycle or reuse many of these materials. Lot of these are, as you know, are also high value materials. These are also rare earth materials. So, there is a need to recycle and reuse these material. But once the product like a phone or any electronic devices comes back, it is very difficult to decide what to do with that product. Whether you reuse or recycle or remanufacture, all the R's for circular economy, again we will cover that, is very difficult. So, unless we have data about not just where it was produced, what is the material, but how it was used, how many times it's changed hands in a consumer product, it is even more difficult. But industrial product, what is the condition, temperature, humidity, vibration, how many times it has gone maintenance, how many times it was repaired, all this data has to be there. So, I can assess what is the condition of the product now. Can it be really reused in something else, or can it be recycled or remanufactured? So, that is the motivation. Circular economy is a big motivator for European Union to move into this digital product passport. But what they are saying is the first product which will go is the car batteries, electric vehicle batteries, and already Volvo is 2 years ahead of time. They have already announced that they are ready. It is going to be done in 2026, but in 2024 itself they have said that Volvo that for their electric cars they are ready. And it is very interesting. Volvo, as you know, is a Swedish company, but now owned by a Chinese company, and they are producing this product in US. So, they have already made this kind of global. So, European Union is also wary. This idea came from Europe, but China has already taken that idea, and they have already already launching the product. Then the industrial products, the electronics products will come in, textile also they want to do this, plus even construction. Now, what is written in fine print here is, though this is a European law, let us say a car company, Renault or somebody in Europe, they will have to do this, but all the parts of the product comes from different parts of the world. Even Indian companies are part of the supply chain, right? Even in the battery, maybe some Indian companies are involved. They are saying irrespective of whatever law exists in your country, you still have to follow this. You have to share data on that passport, right? And if Indian companies are not ready, they will lose this opportunity. I do not know how many companies know it, that this is coming, and this is coming for many different industries in the electronics, in other kinds of industrial products. Textile, there are a lot of Indian companies involved. Welspun, we will cover a case. Welspun is a big textile player. So, they also have to do this if they have to sell to European retailers, this kind of traceability. This data is there. I will request that you go through this, and if you have any questions, we will do. It is primarily for circular pathway. For circular economy, they are saying this is most important. They also helps the company transition to a circular economy and ensure that the end of use product is treated safely and the materials are circulated. There are many other things. Some of the things I will cover little bit in the first part of the afternoon session, and then we will go through the case studies and exercises. There are lots to cover. I think the slides will be there with you, but I think what we have covered now is a kind of very broad overview of different digital technologies in different industrial environments, retail environment, healthcare, agriculture. Depending on the problem which you want to address, think how these are useful or not useful. Have that thinking in your mind, and as we go on, we will discuss. Any final comments from you? Anybody? Yeah.
Actually, a couple of points. One, we have, we had been following earlier, 90s, the Porter's value chain framework,
Yeah.
where he talked about the primary activities in logistics, and there was the secondary activities, HR, in which technology is also considered to be a secondary activity.
Yes.
So, in this change scenario, do you envisage that technology is now a part of the primary, part? Or
Yes, I think so, because many people also in the industries I have talked, they say digital transformation itself now is wrong. Everything is already digital. They have going in this, so there is no really need of transformation. And digital decision making, as even in this Unilever case, you will see that was the motivation. So, they are no longer a support function. So, any analytics or digital innovation is part of every function within Unilever, right. So, that means digital is already embedded. So, it cannot be a support function. It is a very good point that maybe we need to revisit Porter's framework.
I mean, coming from you as an expert, is there somebody in literature who has modified it somewhat?
No, I have not seen. I have not follow so much of the strategy literature. I will not be say, but I don't think I have seen this where they have not just conceptually telling, but empirically have they validated, right? Are they seeing that the companies are moving in this direction? But when we talk to companies, we see they are already telling that sustainability cannot be a separate function, digital cannot be a separate function. It has to be embedded within every function, right? That means it is already part of every core activity. Many companies started off with a separate sustainability function, right? then they were chasing every company, and that itself creates kind of a negative thing, that you are a support function and I have to just satisfy you. Moment you realize that it is sustainability is core of what we are doing in manufacturing or procurement or R&D, then it's not a somebody else who is going to come and help you. You have to do that, take the decision yourself, right? From a company's point of view, it's a big change. R&D engineers have to now think of alternate materials or more sustainability at the design stage itself. Previously, they were just providing the data to that sustainability team. That is different from you actually using the data and taking decisions, right? So I think both sustainability and digital are now, at least for the good companies, it's already embedded. It cannot be like a separate support function.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, please.
So like India is being a labor intensive around the world. So AR for we are like Western industries or the automobile sector, they are using AR for services and maintenance.
Yeah.
So how we can make our like our youth or the manpower in India to like build more knowledge about this, and we can also implement these things in our automobile sector. So
Yes. One thing which we always say, that this should not, the objective should not be to replace people, right? Technology, if you are able to train our people to use the technologies which will improve their productivity, and that time which is freed, they should use for something else more meaningful, right? Previously, even a maintenance technician, maybe he is spending lot of time to even figure out what the problem is. His job is to solve the problem, to get my car ready, right? But if he is struggling to even find out what went wrong, that is not the best use of his time. So if AR is helping in that activity, so that his person's productivity is improved, the person who is actually giving the car for servicing, getting a car in less time, that is beneficial for both, and the person gets trained. Person gets trained in how to use AR. Whatever, maybe in 8 hours now, we can actually do more cars, service more cars, plus additional time maybe he can use for training. So overall, the skill level of the employees are increasing. So that should be the motive. It's not that it is replacing people. Obviously, in foreign in Western world, the number of people are so less, they are almost forced to do. In our case, it's a completely different scenario. We have so many people who also have to have jobs. So it's always we are coming from a little bit different motivation why we should do this. Their case, they have no people, maybe only few people are working, so how to maximize? In our case, we have lot of people. At the same time, improving productivity of these people, getting the best use of the time, and from the customer perspective, reducing the overall turnaround time is important. If it is helping, if I am a service, if I am a dealer for say Tata Motors, I should do this, but again I should do this as a pilot. Instead of trying to roll out everything across the country for every dealership, I should choose some locations, I will pilot this, scientifically measure the impact of it. Does it improve really productivity? Does it improve customer satisfaction? What is the financial impact of it? Then I should do this. If not, if it is actually having a negative impact, I should not. Okay, I will stop here. So Vikas will come over now.
There's a break for 10 to 15 minutes. We'll join back in 15 minutes.
Hello, 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 testing, 1, 2, 3, hello. Hello, hello, testing. मिक्सर से करना सॉरी इधर एम्पलीफायर से करो. टेस्टिंग 1, 2, 3. हेलो हेलो टेस्टिंग कम हेलो हेलो ठीक है.
ये बात. हेलो. यहाँ लगाने से ठीक है. थैंक यू थैंक यू. हेलो. हाँ इट्स कमिंग. आ रहा है.
वायर दिख रहा है अंदर से लेने से ठीक है.
हाँ ठीक है इतना कुछ नहीं चलेगा.
अब रुकिएगा हम बोलेंगे तब स्टार्ट.
हाँ वो आने दीजिए उनको. विल स्टार्ट.
क्या बोल रहे?
Kruchika, you can ask them to join. Yes, we'll start.
सेशन के लिए सारे केसेस हो गया.
वो आज तो आपका ही है.
आज तो मेरा ही है.
जो कल वाला था आपने बोला था एक फर्स्ट ट्राई करते हैं एंड देन दैट आई हैव परचेज्ड. आई गॉट 20 कॉपीज. तो विल सर्कुलेट 20 कॉपीज टुमारो. उसके बाद का आई हैव टू. Check. सही. It's there. Okay. So very good morning. Welcome to this second session, which is on industrial development in the era of smart economy. So till now, in the introductory session, you might be having this idea that what this course is all about and what is the intention of discussing these three very important aspects, right? Smart, sustainable, and resilient. Okay. So obviously, keeping in mind the audience, I don't want to go into very basics of defining all these terms. Rather, I'll just try to explore with you some of the possibilities, what we are doing right now, where we are struggling, some research directions, so that we can think over those things and then the new discussion can start on that. So that is the very basic purpose of this session. This is how I have designed. So to target that, we'll discuss about how the developed economies or other economies are developing, and then we'll talk about some challenges we are facing, operational challenge you can say, which are forcing us to think about how we can be more smart, and then there is no limit of being smart, right? And then obviously then how we can link that with sustainability, and then we need to take care. Smartness should not go to that level where we are tapped into our own smartness, and then that resilient structure is also very, very important, right? And we'll discuss about the role of AI, Industry 4.0, where we can implement those things, and obviously like I mentioned, some research like what I have been doing with my group and whatever is going on around the world. So now why we are thinking about all this? The initiative which I was talking about started by Cabinet Minister Smriti Irani in 2014, and the purpose was how we can solve these problems which we have, local problems, right? And we want that international exposure as well, right? And the purpose here is we can come up with some plans where we can promote entrepreneurship. And you might have heard about all these government initiatives, Make in India, Startup India, entrepreneurship development, skills development. So many women empowerment schemes are there where they are supporting financially and all other ways. Many schemes are there, but only thing is how we can come up with new ideas in terms of how those ideas will lead towards our economic goal. And the goal is very clear, we want to be third or second largest economy in the world, right? So with that, this is very important, we should focus on Make in India. And why I am saying that this is important, right? Because just history, if you see in late 80s, we were ahead of China, right? You can see, and now they are 5 times richer than, in every aspect, they are richer than us. If we'll explore the very basic reason, this is how industry, our GDP is being contributed by different sectors. Services is the leading sector. If we see around the world average also, somewhere 55 to 60%, same is with the case with India as well, right? And agriculture is going down, which is understandable, right? And if you see the Chinese economy, the major portion is coming from the manufacturing sector. Over the years, this we are realizing now, and we are saying that our population is not our weakness. This is program run by Indian government. We have this much pool talent, right? This we realizing now, but China realized long back, and they said that okay, we have, instead of 10 people we have 100. Why don't we manufacture only? Why we are looking only Chinese market? Why don't we go for overseas, and then I'll push your limits as well, because I'm not giving you that salary, that compensation. I'll not say even as per the industry standard, but yes, if you'll work more, you will earn more, right? So in that way, we were ahead of them. Now, if you see the average income by any individual in China, and now if you compare with India, the situation is clear. But now they are realizing, okay, the other economies, US economy, other developed nations, they are coming with services, and this is a kind of sector we can also explore and push further. Let us come with this. When we are talking about Chinese and Indian economy, we can relate. Obviously, we cannot say we can relate directly with the US. Keeping in mind the very basic point which is common is the population. And I still believe this is population burden. I still believe that. The reason is, we are talking about employment, we are talking about how we can, come up with better life standard, healthcare facility, education facility, everything, whatever we are providing. But again, the problem is how many. If you see 20 years back, if I talk about my village, maybe 5 buses were there, same crowd, rush level. Now maybe 50, more than 50 are there. And then if you count number of vehicles, maybe on an average more than 2. Each household is having more than 2 vehicles, 2-wheeler, 4-wheeler, whatever. But still you see crowd. So this population burden, when we talk about, let's move towards smarter economy. That means most of the things we want to automate. Automate is not just to increase the productivity, it's not just to fight the competition, also ensures the quality. If I'll ask you to same the repetitive work maybe 1,000 times in a day, you just imagine your mind and at what level if you are working towards the end of the day, right? So I want some smart automatic robot should be there, which is working not only towards the end of the day, midnight, whenever, as long as it is working perfectly, it's going fine. So when we are moving towards smart economy, robots are taking the jobs away. So then the problem is how we will be sustainable. Now maybe we require now talent but skilled. There is no space for unskilled work. We are talking about warehouses, we are talking about transportation facilities, we are talking, you see, even this courier partner, delivery partner who is coming to your doorstep, he has to handle some technical things, right? So in that way, the positive point which I was talking about, China and India, the biggest population, and the Alibaba can come with anything, and you will get the market, anyhow you will get the market, right? So this is the same case with India as well. You can just go through some of the points I was mentioning about. 1990 China was producing only 3% of the global output. Right now almost 30%. India is still at 3%, right? So we realized, yes, why we are not moving? As per you see, cost scenario, we are third after China and Vietnam. So that is not far behind. That means we are getting the cheap facilities here, labor here, conditions, working conditions are also good. So when all things are okay, so why? Maybe we are struggling a little bit talking about the political scenario, no, but not that much unstable political scenario here, right? So if we'll see the working conditions and all those things for industry setup still okay, but why we still lag with that? So that we need to think about, and then our government realize that yes, we should set up some target, and this is the only reason we need to come up with these kind of initiatives, right? And the targets are in front of you, where we are creating these many job opportunities and all that, but in the end we are also talking about smart and sustainable development, how we can go for smart and sustainable development, right? So jobs and all those things are there. Now industrial revolution, you know that from where we started. I don't want to discuss all this, but we know from where we started. But after starting, and then whatever fundamentals we have implemented, now where are we? Some operational challenges I am talking about, end of life phase, what we are doing with the products when product life is ending. You think of any product you are using, your household item. In any product, EAC, this screen, this pointer, mobile phone, only I believe 10 to 15% components are there which got some limited life. Rest of the component we can extend the life. So if we take care of those 10 to 15% components, we can extend the life maybe from 15 years to 30 years or more than that. What will happen to plastic things? Nothing will happen as long as we are handling carefully, nothing will happen, right? But inside maybe when we are talking about projector, lens got some limited hours, right? When I'm talking about pointer, maybe batteries got limited life, maybe the main circuit board, which is very small component, got limited life. What will happen? The outer casing, outer body, nothing will happen, right? So where I can extend the life, and this is the responsibility of the producer who is manufacturing that product. That's why I like the idea by Eureka for what they are doing is, many other companies are also giving you annual maintenance contract. You are going for AMC. This is a very good initiative, right? So as long as you are using that, whatever will happen to the device, we will take care, and we are charging. Let's say I'm installing AC. After 5 or 7 years, something will go wrong with the inner unit, outer unit, something will be there, right? And then you are going for the new one, or maybe sometimes 10 years age, or if you are shifting, then it will be only, I think, 3-4 years. You shift from one point to other point, and then 50% life is already gone. So, and again, those 10-15% components where we can extend the life. But I am talking here about different point where the responsibility lies with the producer is, this is my room size, I want the cooling facility. I don't want whatever you are installing, window AC or split AC or power, whatever, powerhouse, whatever you are installing, that is up to you. I want cooling for this room, and they have fixed charge for every year. Now just imagine the situation. Now company will install the best product, because if it will go down or maintenance is required, they have to visit again and again. They have to install the component, they have to replace the component without any extra charge. So here comes the responsibility of the producer, right? So how we can extend the life? But then again, the concept, actually these European market, or you say China is known for that, somehow somewhere European countries have also exploited that in that way. Now those countries are talking about sustainability, green initiatives, but initially the power, muscle power was not only the muscle power, how much you are producing, that will highlight your power in the market, in the world market. Why US is powerful? The simple reason, right? Your economy is powerful, right? So you produce, instead of one pointer, if you are buying this in India, maybe 3500, in 3500 China will give you 3 pointers, right? Even if it is going down after 1 year, 3 years, easily you can go for this. And this pointer, maybe they are claiming 2 years, 3 years is the warranty period. But here we are not thinking about the sustainability. Here we are not thinking about the material we are using, and the simple terms, more resources we are using, we are exploiting the environment in that way, right? So that is one point where we need to take care. Have you ever bothered about, you are buying chips packet, how much carbon footprint is there?
Before you move forward, I have a point of view in the last slide which you mentioned about the end of life cycle, a slightly different view, in the sense that, you know, if I take a product like watch, for example.
It's audible. So, is it required for recording? Okay, okay, yes.
Okay. So I said that I have a different take to what you said, and I want to know your thoughts on it. Like end of life period, what you're talking about. Suppose I take a watch.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I know that my father would have used an HMT watch for 20 years. Okay. And that could be and boast about it. But now probably I would be wearing a watch for 5 years, 6 years.
And that too, if you look at Tanishq, they are coming it, they are, you know, kind of projecting or positioning it not as a watch, but as an accessory. Okay. So there is a concept also called value engineering, whereby, you know, you actually, because today's generation, they would not like to flaunt the same watch for 20 years.
Trend is very important.
So
Yes.
therefore, you know, the cost components, whatever that go into it, and probably the manufacturer also would want to push the sales of a new product rather
Yes.
than, you know, kind of servicing and all that things
Yes.
once it has depreciated. So therefore, there is, you know, what I think is, you know, this is a dilemma which is faced by a lot of these manufacturers. So there is a maintenance group which is, with this function of, increasing the life cycle, but there is a sales group which is also very powerful, which wants to, project its new product.
I got your point. Now, when I'm mentioning few points, I'll take your point. I talked about AC, right? I talked about projector. So obviously these items are those items which are not frequently changing with the fashion and all that, as long as the technology is not changing. As long as technology means if AC is coming with the inverter technology, that means that is going to save energy. So if you are changing for that, that is good enough. If you are talking about, if you are wearing one shirt, t-shirt, and then this is a kind of fashionable item, even if you buy one t-shirt of maybe 20,000 and nothing will happen to the fabric for next 5 years, obviously after some time you may feel I need to change it. Even nothing is wrong with that t-shirt, right? So that is related to some other product. Now I'm talking about, like you pointed out, that sales teams want to increase. Now I'll come back to your point. I'm talking about the major industries which is polluting environment more. These kind of heavy equipments we are using, it's only when we produce one shirt, so whatever carbon footprint we left once, right? But I'm talking about using AC. Every time you are running AC, every time you are leaving carbon footprint, right? So for these kind of things, I'm not saying 100% you can replicate the idea everywhere. For that we have to be very, very smart where we can implement that idea. Now AC is not going turn down your sales. Why? Because here the concept is how many rooms I can add. That is your sales. How many units I'm selling is not your sale, right? So you keep on asking for more number of rooms, I'll provide you that. But if you say why you will change, see, let's say 50 people are here, requires 50 rooms. As long as 50 people are there, 50 rooms are there, 50 ACs are required. If that intake strength is not increasing, how it will increase the sale? But I want that to tap that 50 rooms for rest of the life. Let's take in that way, right? So I'm saying where we can extend the life, we need to find out those appliances which we are using, right? So that is one point. And sales is obviously is not hampering in that way. Here the market share is your sale. Okay.
Sir, you said that our Prime Minister says that make in India, but that lot of businessmen that do that. Sir, in business, profit is very important, more than that make in India. So what businessman is doing that 50 to 60% product like technology, they are export from China, and they are assemble it in India, and they are selling in our Indian market, and they are telling make in India. So businessmen are doing that. If they are labeled that in product make in India, so government is so much tax is reducible. So what is the that I said that this is the main thing that India is not grow like China. That you said that China is in early 90s 3% production, and now is 30% their product. That America was said that we are banned China, we are banned lot of country, those who are affect American market. So they do not know, they are telling that, but in back of the mind, they are export lot of product in China. That America said that we are banned China product, but in Tesla, Apple, they are telling that we are shifting Apple, Foxconn. That is
see
this
we cannot restrict. Now after globalization, we have implemented this policy. If we will restrict to importing other products, we cannot sell our products also. This is open market. Whole world is one open market, right? So in that way we can, yes, that point is there. America and China, they fight, right? They fight, and they are kind of, you can say, entrepreneurs. They are also fighting among themselves, right? So they are more emotionally attached to that. If you talk about Amazon could not be so successful in China because of Alibaba, they don't want Amazon to enter into that, right? You just imagine Alibaba, what is the market share out of China? But within China, you just see Alibaba market share is contributing almost 2% to Chinese economy. Can you imagine such a big organization, 2% of Chinese economy, which is second or third largest economy in the world? How can one e-commerce market can be so big? They are protected, right? And their consumers are also feel like sometimes like we say this is a kind of emotional appeal where our Prime Minister also say vocal for local. This is not you can force. See, if we take about the case of Ambani, they came up with this Geo-Fi device, if you know that. At that time, we were so after this, and he also participated, Mukesh Ambani, into all the seminars were held just to raise this slogan, vocal for local. They purchased all these Geo-Fi devices from China. Now you only answered that in business, profit is the first thing, right? But why? The problem is not that we cannot make profit. Why we are not able to make the profit in India when we are manufacturing in India? Apple announced that they will start iPhone manufacturing in India. Still they are not able to. They are struggling a lot. You just see what happened with Tata Nano plant that was supposed to start in West Bengal. Yes. And just imagine if that happens, so how many job opportunities and the local economy, how local economy will move. It's not only one organization. That was the record booking of Tata Nano. You just imagine how many parts are used and how many other units are required, right? Yes, yes.
Sir, it is very, but first you said that it some problem in politics, but it's big problem in politics. In China, if we plant in factory, China will provide 28 days, all paper will be complete. But in India, is complete 6 to 8 months. Then now, so Modi is come, but in early days, 3 to 4 years was.
I will not say it's only the political problem. I will not say that it's only the political problem. See, any political party, they come up with the policies. If today I'll announce something, see, this is maybe the one workshop on sustainability. Next time I will realize that I missed these points, these should be added, right? So this is how, policies evolve over the time. So now you are saying that in China or US, why this economy is moving so fast? I'll just quote one example. If you remember 2008 Lehman Brothers bankruptcy, that happened in US. You just go through that history and see how whole world economy was down. Banks were on the edge of bankruptcy. You just imagine. Third largest financing institution, Lehman Brothers. Many Indian organizations, big houses, they also invested into that. But still our system, our financial structure is so strong, RBI, and we believe in SBI as well. You see, nothing will happen. Even today era where we are, moving with all those apps, and then anytime your accounts can be hijacked, and then that can be done, but still we feel safe, and we are making payments. The problem is very simple. You said very simple procedure. If you go for house loan in US, this was the reason. You just go there, put your document, nothing is required, only 10%, 20%, even if you can show, you can get the loan. But here, equivalent property you need to attach. Even if you are going away, I can make some out of that, right? So when we are talking about, but yes, now this is the era, I cannot say that to be resilient enough, I should be little slow. So if you just go through what happened to this Border Gavaskar series, now the team management is changed, Gautam Gambhir is there. If in every match you are going to change the strategy, that will not give success to you. And then you are talking about test match. What is the basic element in test match? Consistency. Here you have shown the consistency. So that I'm talking about. If you are changing, but yes, how we can quickly do the changeover that is required. I'll just go through the content also. See, more developed economies you are, and you are leaving more carbon footprint. That is obvious. That those many activities are going on, and then you are aware about these all pictures. What is happening right around the world, right?
Just one point, sir, related to what he said about this Chinese thing. China is a very, surveillance regulated state. So therefore it comes as no surprise that giants like Google were unable to, put a foothold. So instead of Google, we have Baidu. Instead of Uber, we have Didi.
The reason is, if you are coming to my class, and if I'll say, if you'll go out of the class for any reason, even if you are feeling not well and you are leaving, I'll fail you in that subject. You will not do that.
No, that's what I'm saying. That
if I'm restricting Chinese, here we are democratic country.
That's what I'm
this
saying.
This is the basic reason. I can put restriction anytime.
So
you cannot move out of your room after 10.
Yes.
What will you do? But in India, you just imagine, anywhere you can sit, dance, anywhere you can do anything, and then if I'm saying why you are doing this, they will convert, oh, I was dancing on some religious song and you did this and that, and
that is one of the reasons why, the graphs which you showed, there is a point to that also, that the manufacture, it's all in sports also. You see Olympic medals, how much they get.
Yes.
Okay. But it's a very regimented, kind of.
In Olympic medals, I just, because I have different perception there, same reasons cannot be attached. The reason is the problem with the audience also. Why BCCI could afford that? They are paying, the salary, those players in A category, B and C, and forget about the salary. For playing one single test match, 15 lakhs. One day 7 lakhs, one T20 5 lakhs. Even if you are going for duck, you will get those compensations are there. And then you forget this, the money that is flowing from the advertisements. And where is the problem? Problem is not with BCCI. Problem is not with, because that is their business model. Because you are watching, we are generating revenue out of that. If I'm generating revenue out of that, I have that right, I should get some share out of that, that's why they are getting. Problem is because we are not getting that much revenue. If your women team is playing, if hockey team is playing, how many of you are following other than Olympics, what Neeraj Chopra is doing right now? After Olympics, he won so many gold medals. Did we ever talk about that? We never talk about that. So, because he won twice, so that's why he is there in some ads, but how long he will survive there, you just imagine. So, I mean, these things are there, yes.
Sir, citizen awareness of citizens regarding sustainability is also important. Like we are buying random products. Let's say we are buying a chocolate, and many companies, many wellness companies, they are writing on the back of their pack saying send it back to us.
Online?
Yeah.
Okay. So you must be using Amazon, Flipkart and all that.
Yes.
When you are placing order, and if after, let's say after 2 days is your delivery time, and I'll say that madam, this time it will take 1 more day because I will be delivering using bicycle, I will be combining, consolidating few more orders and then will deliver you so that it should leave minimum carbon footprint on the environment. Will you be able to wait?
My point is different.
No, this is what you are saying. Yeah, okay, you make your point then.
So they are saying ki send the pack that you used back to us so that we can recycle and reproduce.
Yes.
How many shoppers or how many buyers are actually doing this? We always say ki companies should be sustainably aware. They should take care of their manufacturing sustainability and all. But what about consumers? Shouldn't
have
they
go-
be sustainably aware?
you have gone, 50 years ahead. Here you are talking about, I'm buying one chocolate and wrapper, I'm giving back so that it
was
should be
only an
recycled.
example.
People are not that, in those senses where they actually people are not sensitized, I must say, because this is not there in our curriculum. You cannot wait for 100 meter, dustbin is there, you cannot wait for that, dropping that wrapper inside the dustbin. Can you imagine? They will recycle it. I'm not talking about illiterate people or who are not, up to that level of what this wrapper will do, right? I'm talking about in IIT also, you see many wrappers. Even I know after 100 meters, one dustbin is there, I will not wait that much. Because it's not that I want to, intentionally, I don't want to do that. I also talk very good about plants are very good, we should keep green and all those things, we should keep clean, everyone like cleanliness. But how much we are contributing? This is one problem, right? And then recycling, this, forget about this, the very recent movement by Myntra, if you noticed, they are doing paper packaging. So they have eliminated this plastic packaging. Even for attaching the bill, they are using one paper, right? So even the adhesive tape is made up of that thing, and inside that whatever cushion they are using the shredded box material which is already waste, right? So this is how they are doing that, and it is written on the paper packaging 100% recyclable. I was totally amazed with this initiative. I said, wow, this is going to change the scenario, because if someday, right now, maybe people are not sensitized enough that they should be bothered about the plastic they are throwing. Maybe after 10 years, they will start thinking of that, and then they will say, yes, they will appreciate. I will always order on Myntra because they are doing this. But the sad story is that is 100% recyclable, still lying at my home only. No one is coming to take it back. I cannot recycle at my home, right? But then again, point is, like, criticism can come if paper packaging will be there, it will encourage the deforestation. What we will do? You see, they collaborated, I forgot the organization name, I think Canopy is the organization. They collaborated with them, and then they ensured that whatever we are using, trees we are using, those many plants also will ensure. They have made the cotton farming sustainable by using that, their material inside the packaging, again recycling that. They promise this, at least they promise this, right? But then again, the point is how long it will go. So cyber security, we are talking about smart system, then these many number of incidents, how many times, how frequently we are getting the calls. So today morning only I got call from Thailand saying that we are calling from telecommunication department, or this that has happened, and then how many see this is common trend now. People are also now aware that this is, but sometimes trapped. And then we are talking about competition is challenge. So that challenge we have to accept. So I'll grab more resources, right? Let us grab everything of market, and Jio will come up with one day, will come up with this offer, everything is free, you come to us, everything is free. For 6 months, oh, we expected more numbers and only this much. Okay, let's extend another 6 months. Let's extend another 6 months. 18 months they did this for free. And now with the Jio Fiber, all problems are solved. You have that in your house, and then your Wi-Fi, your phones, everything, one recharge, TV, everything is working on that. And now, because 55% now have joined my group, now I have the power. And same thing is doing, Indigo is doing only airlines in India which is profitable since last more than 15 years. Only airlines. You just imagine what they are doing. How this can happen? Come on, more than 10 airlines have been stopped recently, and how they are so sustainable, they are making profit. When they started, only first 2 years they were into losses. From the next year, and there was a recent survey, I read this news that Indigo was rated one of the worst airlines in the whole world. But why? Why we are still picking that? I always travel, I have only that option. In India, their tagline is changed now, India by Indigo. Because you will get 90% flights are Indigo only. And then cheap flight. And then on time. They are paying to be on time. So everything will be on time and their staff is minimum. So I'll rush through these, some of the challenges. We talk about natural disasters and then we talk about resilience, and then we have seen recent 4-5 years what happened, COVID-19 outbreak. I'll not say whether it was man-made or natural, whatever happened, but you just imagine after that complete shutdown, supply chain resiliency, people were, going for panic buying. I don't know, after 10 days I'll get the material for my kitchen or not. So let us buy everything for whole life. And you just imagine 10 rupees mask, face mask, they were selling for 500 initially. Because they know that, yes, you are going to buy. Hand sanitizer, gloves, mask, we started using like anything now. And before that, we never care for that. But just, yes, there was setback for few industries, but there was, your liquor industry started producing sanitizer. They have to channelize the resources anyways. So some of the latest development, challenging industry, space tourism. Everyone knows that, but then you want to know who is the first to go there. Okay, if you are going there, that means if some place is very, we attach the things very quickly with the status. So that means, oh, we know that was the, but you just imagine the competition that is coming out of this. Many maybe they can afford this, but what will happen? And then China is talking about fake moon. Whole electricity problem, night lights are not required, street lights are not required. Who will maintain? We will have night moon, artificial moon. You just imagine, many species work in the night only. They eat in the night only. How those species will evolve? So again, but yes, you only told me we want to be China, we want to develop, obviously we want to be 5 times richer than China. If they can do that, let's do that. And then scrap everything, whatever resources from wherever you can get, you get that from the environment. You degrade how much you can do that. So whatever we are doing with oceans and all that, and then in the financial market also, these are few challenges we are facing, right? And but yeah, Nirmala Sitharaman, she knows that people are making money out of bitcoins. So she has regulated very quickly, she did this, and after that there was, people lost money like anything, more than 50%. More than 50% they lost. But now again, because many countries, they are legalizing this, so now it is going up again. And then the basic challenge, we are talking about smart city, and these are the picture, because I work in the area of this, why it is not, okay. So I work in the area of waste management, and these pictures outside hospital. And during COVID, because these people, municipal corporation people were not coming to collect your garbage. And you just imagine, we were going through that pandemic, and that pandemic means it's a communicable disease. So if you, even the waste is coming as a normal waste from your kitchen or whatever, it should be treated as infectious waste. Because if COVID patient is there, should be treated. But then if we are 50 people here, we know that daily we'll generate 15 kg waste. But suddenly, you never used sanitizer, never used face shield, face mask, hand gloves, you never used. You suddenly started using all those things. So there are studies saying that more than 200% increase in the waste, only in the healthcare waste I'm talking about. They never considered that household waste can also be now infectious waste. Because if you are COVID patient, initially they started treating at different centers, right? Then you know the population burden I was talking about, how many hospitals you can set up. They came with the foreign field hospital, but how many? And then, okay, you'll be at home, they started providing you thermometer and then oximeter, and the medicine is coming. That was initially for some days, and then every other person is infected. How we can do that? We cannot afford those many resources. So the waste is coming from everywhere, and the treatment center got a limited capacity to treat because we were producing only 15 kg. They were capable of handling that 15 kg. Suddenly it came up to 150 kg. How we'll handle that? So let's open burn it, let's recycle it without knowing what we are recycling. Any infectious waste you cannot recycle, but you cannot imagine the industry structure in India. We have unregulated this recycling of the waste coming like anything. And because this is infectious, should be disinfect with we have treatments, but who cares? If it is plastic, let's recycle it as plastic. So what future we are looking for? Let's move towards circular economy. Anything we are doing, nothing should go out of the system. In one circle, this concept can be applied anywhere. If I'm putting 100 rupees in my business, I should not lose anything. I should make it more sustainable. How I can make it tomorrow 110 rupees business, then 200 rupees, right? How it can be more sustainable so that I need not to fuse any money into that, right? How we can ensure that? So use and throw. Who gave this lifestyle of use and throw? Those countries, now known as developed countries, are caring about the environment and saying that we should stop use and throw. You know, the maximum waste is coming per person, if I'll calculate, is coming from the developed countries because they can afford that, use and throw. We got very late this idea that same syringe we cannot use for multiple purposes. Earlier only that syringe was there, and then we used to change the needle, and then now plastic syringes are coming. You just imagine, if you are putting 100 injections, 100 syringes will be there. That much plastic waste we are generating. So life expansion is important wherever it is possible, and how we can convert this waste into energy. Another thing is, one is life cycle assessment software. Many organizations coming with the initiative that whatever, if I am producing this water bottle from production or raw material, whatever we are getting, up to this stage, not only this stage, after that this bottle will go into dustbin. How much carbon footprint we are leaving? How much energy we are consuming? Electricity we are using to produce this? Molding machine we are running? Electricity? Okay. So then this much carbon, how many units are required? So this life cycle assessment, so they started branding their products as green products, and then they are saying that this much carbon footprint is left. Every stage they are saying that, right? If you recycle, you can reduce this much. So role of startups and small business, we always see to MSMEs, small, medium, micro industries, because they are giving a big push towards our economy, and obviously creating the job opportunities as well, and then they are catering the local needs also, because they know, right? So I am just, you know about the role of small businesses, right? The basic point here is, if we will invest into, like I was talking about Tata Nano plant in Singur, West Bengal. That was Singur or Singur, something like that. Singur, right? I don't know that place here in West Bengal. So if we can set up these kind of manufacturing facilities, I'm just talking about focusing only on sustainability of employment opportunities, right? So how many other units we can set up around, and then how many job opportunities we can create. Not only that, maybe other industries related or maybe unrelated industries will come. We have in Himachal, I belong to Himachal, we have one area under Solan district. So there Himachal government came with the concept, I think more than now 15 years. So this area I'm talking about was complete forest. Now you go there and you will see polluted like anything. Industries, so many industries. They came with the concept pharmaceutical industry will come here, and we are giving initial 4 days or 5 days without any tax, then 2%, then 4%, in stages it will be there. So I mean whatever we are producing in the rest part of country, so up to that level they will reach somewhere around I think 13 or 15 years. So for 13 and 15 years, that much rebate they are getting, and you just see we are I think more than 25% we are producing in India pharmaceutical products. 25% contribution we are producing in India, right? If we will compare the worldwide pharmaceutical production, and out of that 35% is coming only from that area. Their basic purpose was how we can increase the employment opportunity. They put the condition, we will give you this concession, 70% employment should be given to local people, means who are resident of that state, right? So that was, but yes, then this is a problem. What if you are not getting the skilled labor? But then business houses are smart enough, where they need, you know, those for the top level management they hired outside, and then for lower level, because numbers they need to maintain, so easily we can do that. So how we can survive with our these powerhouses, right, which are giving you the boost in your economy? We need to make them sustainable, and one thing is your finance, how we can ensure them the finance. So that once you are giving, there are few schemes government of India they are running in higher educational institution. Business incubation centers are there, right, with many NITs and IITs. So the purpose is for 5 years you will get the office or space as per your proposal, whatever you are going to manufacture. They will not charge anything for that, but yes, running operational cost you have to bear. You got the building, you got the space, now you can start your, after 5 years if you are successful you can. This is the concept, although the success rate is still very debatable, but yes, the initiative, at least initiatives are there, right? So that it can be. So now we want successful, we want smart, we want immediate everything. Just I will show you this picture. If this is one concept, one video. Just imagine you are visiting Big Bazaar or any multi-brand store or any departmental store where you are getting everything. What is usually the process? You are going inside, many shelves are there, you are walking around, right, and then you are picking your products, and then billing counter is there, and then you are in queue maybe half an hour, and then things are being done, right? But you just see, this is another concept. This is one store in Delhi which is known as dark store. You need not to level this store, right? This any facility may be little away from the city so that the expenses can be managed, and you place the order online, we will deliver you in 10 minutes. Blinkit and your Zepto is doing that. This is one concept, right? The another thing is we are talking about the smart things. You just imagine Amazon warehouse, maybe more than, I don't know how many products will be there, in how much quantity. I just want to search one product. Customer place the order, you want to search one product, how? You will just see that maybe now you have the system, will see which shelf where it is, you will locate it, and then you will find. And then those many people are required to this, right? Now we are talking about automated warehouses where robots are working. You place the order, it will be picked automatically, packed within next 10 minutes, will be delivered, will be handed over to the courier partner. No person is working there. Amazon is working on that, right? This is smart economy we are talking about. So that means we need to sense what you want. Let's say I talked about you are moving in Big Bazaar, you want toothpaste. How many maybe different brands are there? You picked one toothpaste, otherwise toothpaste is a kind of item, whatever you are purchasing regularly, you will keep on doing that, even that whether it is giving you any fresh breath or not, it's another point, but you will keep on doing that. But let's say even if you want to choose something else today, so if you will take one, and then you see, and maybe you will read some information if you know that, and then you will place it back. If you will go for the next one, then you will select like this. But something is going on in your mind, why you are picking, why you are dropping back, right? So I want to tap that information also, so that I can find out why customer is not preferring my product, why customer is. So these sensor, these points, I can record the data, and that can help me to design everything. This is what we are talking about as more smarter, the future of shopping. Why that line is required, why those 10 people working on the billing counter required. You just get that trolley, put your whatever you want, your items, it will give you the Amazon rating as well, whatever rating we are concerned about the rating, and then if you want, you take it, and then in the end you just swipe your card on the trolley only, and you can go. So this is what we are talking about, and how we can implement these things. I'll leave this, and this is IoT based smart supply chain. Another example, when we e-commerce industry talking about sustainability, I don't think is a kind of if I'll give that example to e-commerce, even though I said about Myntra, about 35% or 40 up to 40% products are returned back, and we are talking about sustainability. One product is picked from Gurgaon, delivered to some local hub, maybe in Gurgaon or Delhi, local hub will be there, will be shipped to Calcutta, they will send to Kharagpur, and from there it will be delivered to this campus, and then within next second, one single click, and you are returning it back. No business, nothing, you did not get the product, and you see this whole process, the carbon footprint, and 35% products are returned back. Okay, I am giving you this freedom because otherwise I will not survive in the market. Others are doing that, that is competition. You will be shocked to know the reasons. The first reason is we are shipping the wrong item. First reason is we are shipping the wrong defected products, and that is contributing almost 30%. Second prominent reason is 20 to 25% adding, that is we are shipping wrong items. How this can happen in this smart era? How you can deliver wrong item? When we are equipped with RFID, and if you go to airport, you are dropping your bag here in Calcutta. If you want your bag in somewhere in other country, you will get it without any failure, right? Very rare it is happening because the cost is very high. But why it is happening here that 20 to 20% products are we are returning, getting the returns because we delivered wrong item, and then you just see the returnability and all that. That's the big reason. Still the business model, they are not able to survive, and they started thinking of putting some charges for deliveries and all that, right? So if you are shifting,
Sir, what you pointed out, do you think it is a technological problem or a human-centered problem?
This if will replace with the technology. So obviously if we are using our RFID and that wrong item shipping, we can avoid that. How we can do that? Now another example, like I told you, defected items. Let's say we are delivering one scooter from Calcutta to this or any other item. We should be able to track that product all the way. If in between somewhere that product is damaged, I should know that during transportation some accident happened because of road condition, anyhow that product is damaged. Why I am traveling another 500 kilometers to deliver that product, and then waiting that the customer should get that experience that this is damaged? Why we cannot track that? Obviously this technology we need to update, where I can find out that this item is already damaged, why you are going to deliver that? So
sophisticated airlines also, and you can also see the number of baggages which lose track. They have got very good technological solutions to track the luggage, but still there are baggage misplacements, your luggage going to some other place, and they have the very best of technological systems.
Yes, that's why I said very rare it is happening because cost is very high. So maybe if you have experience, that's why maybe if you have experienced this personally.
Yes.
Okay, so I never experienced this. So, but still the way they are managing, because then you have to deliver that. The compensation is very high, and people, the crowd which is coming to airlines is a kind of, they know their rights. They have that much time also to fight for that. But for if you are delivering one maybe soap to any household, and then it is a wrong product or some other item, grocery item, then the cost is not that much high, right? So cost, you can calculate cost of the product or compensation, and then cost related to safety also. This is another point, right? So what we are talking about, yes, technology also sometimes we fail, right? And then example would be Apple. Apple is known for updating their products, right? Now if you use their headphones, Apple headphones, Bluetooth headphones, the first very basic plus point is, if you put your headphones in your ear, outside noise is removed. Even if you are not listening any song, even then noise will not be there, right? This is one thing. Second thing is AI headphones, right? Now if you will ask, obviously so many other features you will ask, you will play that. Once, let's say on the way you are going, then you are using normal headphones, you have to put out your headphones and then you can talk to that person, because otherwise your songs will be there. You start talking with the person, it will realize that you are talking, automatically it will stop playing the song, right? Now this is the, you'll say, the advanced technology and very good feature, right? People are paying 25,000, 50,000, 1 lakh for getting that feature. But the problem is, when I listen the song, and if it is very kind of, I want to sing with that track, you start singing, it will stop playing because I am saying something. So they need to tap this. Maybe next series will come, they will handle that. So that's why that sales part, they sometime intentionally they are keeping few things away, so that you should realize the role. So yeah, because we have to finish, I'll just point out a very beautiful, this another video which I want you to see. This is related to healthcare.
In the decades ahead, healthcare will undergo dramatic transformations. Medicine will become more precise. Value will shape care delivery. Patients will become empowered consumers. And digitalization will transform every facet of healthcare. Patients will have a digital twin, a customized computational model of themselves, enabling Dr. Clive to anticipate illness, guide therapy options, and predict outcomes of procedures. Expanding precision medicine will enable radiologists to make highly specific diagnoses for Stephen without unwarranted variations.
So just that much will give you the idea what I wanted to talk about. Before any heart attack situation, there must be some abnormal parameters about your body which you are not feeling, and then because you are not feeling, so you are not able to take some call on that. So can we implant some technology, regularly they are maintaining all the parameters required, and you just imagine cancer we usually detect when it is on the 3rd or 4th stage. Why it is not happening that? Because continuously you can scan that parameters, so you can instruct me, yes, this cancerous cell is developing within your body, you need to take the treatment immediately. You forget about that, how many times this happens. There are few prescription given by doctor, reacted in other way, and then there is no history that you should never take those prescription again. But another doctor will give you the same, that can also happen. This is doctor should take care of my medical history. Only then they can prescribe what is good for this, because every individual is different. The next level is whether we know about doctor, whether he has treated this or not, how many cases he has handled. Before going to any hospital, you know this is an accidental case, very critical, requires some very kind of rare blood group, and then you are going and then doctors are saying this blood group is not available. Then you are rushing here and there. Before that, there should be some app, how many doctors are treating this patient, kind of patient, what is the history, the facilities available, and then we are running out. For this test, we are going to some other hospital, some other clinic, this, that, one doctor is not there, facilities are not there. How easy the life will be if we have all those things on our finger. Just information, this era is just information. How smartly we can circulate that information before heart attack, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, enough time to survive. I can just get a call that this is going to happen in 15 minutes because of this abnormal situation within your heartbeat or whatever. This is predictive maintenance, not only applied to human body, applied to everywhere. The appliances we are using, before crashing down, there is something which we cannot notice. And then after 10 kilometers, accident is there. After 10 kilometers, driver is going to sleep and then accident will be there. But he is going to sleep after 10 minutes. How we can predict that? That is what we can make our, if I'm running, let's say, taxis, my drivers are there, I want to control the quality. How driver is behaving with the people? How driver is driving the car? If you are driving in that way, which will consume more fuel, if you are driving in that way, that may damage the products you are carrying inside. So these are few things, right? So I'll just give you some research perspective. This is one where this was the first thesis I guided, which was on healthcare supply chain 4.0 based on industry 4.0. Same thing we are targeting, emergency supply chain, healthcare supply chain, emergency. Normal, okay, but emergency, how we will handle that? How we will handle that blood group problem that is not available there, right? So, and then we can convert into smart healthcare supply chain. This is second thesis, which was on this concept of blockchain technology, fintech solution, how we can provide, so that if I'm giving some sponsorship to some small startup like FTBIs, like the business incubation center I was talking about, running by various HEIs, how we can provide them with the initial infrastructure, and then in return what they will return to me? They will return the employment opportunities, they will add to our GDP, right? How we can do that? So these are few things, the research perspective which are going on, right? So time is almost. So any questions, any discussion points, we can.
Okay, I am like that inquisitive student whom some faculty members dislike and some like. So because I have lot of questions,
Yeah.
but one thing which I want to get from you particularly, because coming from an industrial background, we understand all the problems, but what we are seeking out is solutions. Okay, now one big problem that HR in industry is facing even today is, this post-COVID phenomenon, where most of them were actually working from home, employees, and now to come back to normalcy, there are a lot of companies who started out with the hybrid formula, and then you tend to return to normalcy, like it's but they are facing a lot of challenges there. So I mean, I want to hear what can you do perhaps to let, because what happens through this COVID period, 2 years, you are kind of now go into the habit of working from home, traveling, etc. All these things, in metropolis like Bangalore, Delhi is quite a pain. Okay, and from the company side, you are also getting productivity, lot of savings in costs from the overhead costs.
I got your question.
So
you asked me two questions.
So what is your take? Like, I mean, like, the companies are wanting to go back to the normalcy.
Yes.
But there are, they are finding it difficult.
So, two questions. First is very important, that few faculties may not like you, so because of your questions. But I believe if you are asking questions now, so then after when you will go now, you will be clear with the things we were discussing, right? And in that way, the result will be feedback will be positive. But if you will not say here, obviously you are going to say once you will go out. And that will be kind of feedback which is maybe next time maybe I can improve or like that, but that may not be the real one also. Because you were having some doubts and then you did not ask me, I could not clear that, and then you may have that perception, he could not answer or maybe he did not address that, right? So that is one point. So other point is, yes, this now I'll say these IT industry, they want that their employees should be at home. Because when you are coming to the office, you are consuming tea and coffee like anything. You are consuming my electricity like anything. AC charges like anything. You be at your home, I'll give you laptop. Now that office space is also not required. In Bangalore and Delhi, you were talking about having office and then welcoming you. You just imagine, I would be happy. In return, whatever hell you are doing at home, I want this project, you are project mentor, whatever, you are handling that project, project manager, you will do it. You have to do it. That is job. What else why I'll want that you travel to my space and consume my things? Unnecessary. Second thing is, the other side, employee side. I have few friends. They are saying that this cost parameter has come down like anything. Last 5 years we did not shop. Otherwise for office, our 30% salary was going into that only. What we will bear tomorrow, then day after tomorrow, and then present table, now we are doing work. And the most funny part is from their parents. One of my friend, she is from Palampur, उसके parents से they said, अरे ये कौन सी कंपनी है तुम्हें बेडले बैठ के यहाँ पैसे दे रहे हैं, भैया बुलाते क्यों नहीं है वापिस? I was like कि parents now they also want some freedom. अरे 5 साल हो गए तुम्हें वापिस नहीं बुला रहे, सैलरी भी दे रहे हैं. एंड वो बोलते क्यों जाएंगे, कहाँ जाएंगे, बैंगलोर में अच्छा है, पालमपुर इज वेरी गुड प्लेस. AQI और इस सबकी बात करते हैं, लेट अस बी इन पालमपुर और देन वी आर डूइंग व्हाटएवर वी आर डूइंग, राइट? सो इट इज द प्रॉब्लम इज इन बोथ वे. These companies, other companies are running perfectly fine if you can do at home, but then again that work culture, office culture, those things, the connections, those things are obviously for long term how it will impact. As long as I'm working with these many people, this team is fine, I know them. What if someday new member will join? How I'll get synchronized with that person? Then it will be problem. But as long as it's going on, so we have some, see, somewhere we are doing trade-off daily. So then I know that if new people will join, I need to make new team. Let's onboard them for 2 years and then again we'll say go for this, right? So now this research is also going like that only. Research scholars are doing so many different activities other than the regular research.
I didn't want to name the company. Yeah. The company which
I can name many.
You said
where
about,
my friends are working.
You said about IT company. Actually, one of the largest IT companies in India, TCS, is actually facing this problem. They are wanting the employees to come back to the office.
Then why they are not calling my friends who are desperately waiting for their calls? They are working in TCS only.
So they are doing it in phases.
Yeah.
What I
so yeah, so they have done like this. In week you have to come twice, right? So maybe for some time, maybe then again they will call. That depends upon that. The decision is, again you need to understand what is going behind that decision. The decision is only twice. Why I want? I don't want them to work in my office. I want that there should be some synchronization, only to take care of that HR perspective, because that team foundation, whatever we talk, we somewhere still we feel that is required. If I'm not well today, can my partner, can colleague can take care of my things? That attachment, from where it will come? So that is required in that way, right? So let's call them twice, and maybe if 500 employees are working, I'll say today only these 50 are coming, next day these 50 are coming. So that much a facility minimum is required, but they have cut down cost like anything by reducing these operational expenses. Yes, any other question?
Yes, sir. Sir, there is a, you told us that companies producing green products. So there is a concept of greenwashing. So how can like the normal consumer
Companies
can be aware?
can name green product, but the product has its own nature. It cannot be green. How you can say this can be green?
Exactly.
Just putting the tag will not make it green.
So how
If
can
you are saying that steel industry is going to be green, come on. How you will melt the steel at that high temperature? How you will produce that temperature? You are going to consume those many resources. If you are saying that electrical mobility, electrical vehicles will reduce the pollution, how? That electricity is being supplied from thermal power station. We need to work the roots, and everywhere it is not possible. It is not possible everywhere. So it depends upon the, but yes, we need to think about that. We need to think about that if we will go by ship, right, so that much cost also we can cut down, and the sustainability measures also we can take care up to some extent. If you will go by road, it's the expensive way, most expensive way, because of in terms of the time it is taking, and then the accidents are happening. Air is the most expensive, but in terms of time and accidents and those things. But still, unfortunately, in India, 60% logistics is being done by road transportation only. So that way we are limited by that. So we don't have that port infrastructure. Those big ships cannot come there, and because that much depth is required, that infrastructure we don't have. So it will take time to develop all those things. But yes, now the things are, government is working and we are thinking on that. But yes, to make this happen, make in India, only then we can export when we have that infrastructure which is required, which is true. Any other question? So thank you very much. So we'll meet 3:30 again. So Professor Chaudhary session will be there 3:30 to 5:30. We'll just give that document in the WhatsApp group. You all are there in the WhatsApp group. We'll circulate that in the WhatsApp group. So you can just ask them. Yeah, they will add you. You can keep it with you. Sir, that case study you can give me, we will circulate. Speaking in front of you, sir, was challenging. We'll start 3:30.